All right, we're going to call our meeting to order, and we're going to begin with the pledge. And today we have Kim Bart Elementary Kindergarten class, Mrs. Phillips class, will be leading us today in the pledge.
Hi, my name is Santos, and I am a Kindergarten Coyote pup. And I'd like to introduce my amazing teacher, Miss Phelps Kindergarten class.
Put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Love it, love it. Great job. Hopefully some of you are watching. Thank you again so much for leading us in the pledge today. All right, we will now move to 1.3, approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Second. All right, I heard a motion and a second. If there is no discussion, we'll take the vote. Dr. Flores.
Aye.
Ms. Ceballos. Ms. Ceballos? Okay. Dr. Hill? Aye. Dr. Wyatt?
Aye.
Ms. Rosales Medina?
Aye.
Mr. Tillman?
Aye.
Dr. Dowdy Rogers? Aye. Motion carried. Thank you. We're at 1.4. Our inspirational message tonight will come from board member Myra Ceballos.
Thank you so much, President Dr. Rogers. Can you all hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Awesome. So good evening, everyone. So yes, tonight it is my turn to deliver the inspirational message. As I was thinking on what to share with all of you that might inspire, I was also reflecting on the past year, all the way up until this very moment. I was reflecting on everything we have gone through collectively with all of the loss so many of us have experienced in the past year, all of the way from the division and the hate we've witnessed to the thousands of deaths we have endured as a result of the pandemic. Then I also thought about today and how close we are to the end of the school year, which means we are entering into our celebration season, where our seniors will be completing a huge milestone in their lives, where we recognize employees that will be leaving us. In short, I thought, wow, we have experienced so much emotion in the last year. And with the school year coming to an end, cases dropping, schools reopening, this is a great time to finish this chapter and open the next one. It will not be easy, but with new beginnings come new opportunities. As I was thinking of all of those things, I wrote down some thoughts that I would like to share now with you all, and then I will end with a couple quotes. So here we go. What I hope that we can achieve in the world, in the US, and especially here in San Bernardino, is unity. I believe we can accomplish unity by practicing more tolerance, acceptance, and love. Life is short and unpredictable. We have no time to waste. Let us learn and teach our children that pride will only drive us to self-destruction, that shame will rip out our wings, that fear will paralyze us from becoming, that envy will poison our heart, that anger will kill us slowly, that unforgiveness will make us prisoners in our own mind. Let us learn and teach our children that those emotions are part of our humanity and that they should not be ashamed of them, but rather aim to understand where they come from. Let us also learn and teach our children that part of our humanity also includes friendship, and it will drive us to the construction of community, tolerance that will allow us to be patient with our brothers and sisters, courage that will propel us to move forward during the most scary and difficult moments in life, joy that will bring value to our lives, acceptance that will allow us to open our hearts to love, and love that will allow us to care for and protect one another. Now, I will be reading to you some quotes that have inspired me, and I hope that they will also inspire you today. Today, our very survival depends on our ability to stay awake, to adjust to new ideas, to remain vigilant, and to face the challenge of change. by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And then one of my favorite, If Opportunity Does Not Knock, Build a Door by Milton Berle. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ceballos. That was wonderful. Very inspirational. All right. So being further inspired, Dr. Volkemer, you said there are some special people that's possibly watching or around somewhere.
You bet. Thank you, Madam President. Board, as I think most of you know by now, one of my absolute favorite things to do is brag about our kids and the many, many, many successes they achieve in so many different areas. And we have a very, very special group of students with you this evening. It's our pleasure to bring you an end-of-year update from our Superintendent Student Advisory Council. These are students that, on top of everything else they do, and the list of activities is nearly endless, make time to be a part of this group. And the group is designed to build leadership experiences for students and to promote student voice in our discussions and our decision making. And these stellar students have found a way to keep their work alive during a most unusual year, and they've served as a constant source of great information and inspiration for me and all who have worked with them. So tonight, they're going to provide an update as to the projects they've been working on. We're very excited to have them share with you this evening, and I just can't thank them enough for their diligence, their hard work, their perseverance all throughout the year and what they've been able to accomplish. So I'll turn it over to the team at this point.
Thank you, Dr. Volkemer. You couldn't have said it better. These students that have been involved in the Superintendent's Student Advisor Council are a cross-section of our students in this district. Articulate, hungry, just hardworking, and dedicated to making their community a better place. And so I'd like to thank their advisors. Specifically, I'd like to thank Dennis Moorman and Scott Iliff, who have been leading the charge in getting our students more active and definitely a voice in the work that we do in this district. So at this time, I'd like to hand this over to Dennis Moorman, who is our Director of After School Programs, CAPS, and Mr. Scott Iliff, who is a program facilitator at Pacific High School. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Dr. Rodriguez. And good evening, President Rogers, board members, Dr. Volkemer, thank you for those kind words about the students. And we're excited to be able to share with you today the Superintendent Student Advisory Council projects. And to get us started, Mr. Iliff will lead us into the program.
Okay, next slide, please. So a few years ago, the Superintendent Student Advisory Council created some goals in order to facilitate leadership. And so our two goals are increase their voice in decisions that affect them and develop leadership skills and use their voice to develop and engage in service projects that serve their schools, the district, and greater community. So it was very important that we develop these goals and have a focus for the Superintendent Student Advisory Council. Next slide. And now you'll be hearing from our 4 different service project groups, and our service projects are aligned to the SBC USD Community Engagement Plan 2.0. So everything was aligned to the plan several years ago. And so each of the presentations, you'll notice elements from the Community Engagement Plan. Next. Our first group is Restorative Practices. And looks like we have Jaylene Bell.
Hi everyone, good evening. We are the Restorative Practices group, and our purpose is to increase restorative practices for students and to give them an opportunity to correct behaviors and manage future success. Next slide, please. Also, good evening, and thank you to President Dr. Rogers, Vice President Dr. Wyatt, and Superintendent Dr. Volkemer for having us here and having us present to you today. And thank you to everyone for being here tonight. My name is Jaylene Bell, and I am a senior at Middle College High School. And today I'm going to be presenting on the behalf of my amazing group, Restorative Practices, are also known as the makers of the HOPE program, which stands for Hope, Outcomes and Opportunity, Possibility, and Engagement. So in our group, we have me, the spokesperson, Arlie, our facilitator, Darlene, our recorder, Yair, our timekeeper, and Dulce and Lisbeth. And our group is proud to say and to present that we are all going to be attending college and moving on to the next step in our lives after graduation. So our HOPE program's mission is to actually help students re-enter the learning environment, and it focuses on students who have been identified as homeless, those with juvenile and discipline issues, and those who are considered to be foster youth. And the main goal is to, of course, help these students make an impact, benefit them, and support them in their future and their future learning and personal goals. So afterwards, we actually hope that as alumni, they come back and help others as future hope makers themselves, along with making a change in their own lives and in their schools. Thank you. So future hope makers are those who are wanting to provide a positive support and safety net while helping students re-engage and re-enter the learning environment. So to do this, our programs aims to refrain from negative or disciplinary actions and actually provide them with a safety net, reassurance, and support that they need as learning students. And in order to meet our goal and objectives, our HOPE program has created a playbook, which is our guide for schools on how to implement this program. And of course, how to support them and give them the support that they need as learning students and in their goals of becoming future lifelong learners. It outlines how our program will be run and different things that could be done to support each individual. And we will be having two main people who will help in support of this program, which will be our facilitators and our positive peers who will help run the program, in which the facilitators will be run by the staff members and those who would be guiding the group with them, encouraging students, managing network aspects, approving of activities, checking grades and attendance, and helping ensure that students are really on the right track. Our positive peers will be run by high school students who will then be building connections with the HOPE kids, supporting them, motivating them, and running group activities. And they are also going to be the more hands-on, supportive, and interactive group because they are also students themselves. They're going to be able to build that stronger connection with these students and be more helpful to them in the long run. And one of the main activities that our group will be implementing is the use of restorative circles. So our group has researched a bit about this beforehand, and we found that restorative circles will actually help students and give them a chance to speak freely without the overwhelming feelings that come along with it. We understand that sometimes it could be a little overwhelming to speak in groups. So this is actually being able to create a safe space for them and to speak and support one another, along with helping them, encouraging them, and having them get outside their comfort zones. So some other things we would like to include is basically the use of low and high risk activities. So one of our low risk activities is actually the name game, which will basically help HOPE kids get to know one another, break down their defense walls, and it actually will help with their memorization skills. And some high risk activities are more personal and asking deeper questions. So we are currently working on, and part of our transition right now for next year is to develop those community partnerships to help our program run more smoothly and to get that extra help that we may need from supporting groups to make our program possible. And our group, why is it needed? Our group aims to give students, again, to help build lifestyle and academic skills. And this will be done by helping students learn and to demonstrate different skills such as time management, effective communication skills, and helping support them in their academics with tutoring and one-on-one support. And of course, again, we are trying to help students to re-enter the school environment after running into problems. We understand that it is important to help students get back into the learning environment because it can be a struggle having to do that on your own. So our program aims to be that support for students. And this program is going to bring hope for their future and their opportunities and their successes beyond just high school and in their lives personally. And again, our program is to help and refrain them from dropping out and just stopping on school, but to encourage them to keep going. So in order for any program like this to be implemented, a financial investment is required. So we are asking you, the board, to help make hope happen. Now our program is needing $30,000 in support to help basically with the printing of our playbook, field trips, supplies, more such as posters and materials, food, shirts, things like that. And this, however, is not only a financial investment, but it is more of a community investment because our group understands that everyone counts. Everyone needs that one-on-one support. Everyone requires help. We can't do it all alone. So this is our program we are supporting. And even though everyone in my group is college bound, and even though we all are seniors, we still want to be able to help those still in high school still graduate and continue on in their life journey towards success. And thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Jaylene. Our next group is our peer mentorship group. The purpose of this group is to build peer connections and provide support for students across district campuses, enriching the high school experience and building leadership capacity. This is a two-part presentation. Part one is being presented by Chloe Morales and Timothy Perez.
Hello, everyone. My name is Chloe Morales, and I am a senior at Gallon High School. I will be representing part one of peer mentorship, and I will be speaking on behalf of my group members, Belandra Melendez, Tuan Fawn, Tamika V. Perez, and Luis Cortez. So our program is a program to help incoming freshman students navigate and ease the transition from middle school to high school. Students will have the opportunity to connect with student mentors to help them better navigate the freshman, sophomore, and even possibly the junior year, both academically and emotionally. Students not only need good academic support, but they also need strong emotional skills. It can be hard for students when they encounter something for the first time, such as high school. And most students do not have an older sister, brother, or a family member on campus that could help them with the struggle of high schools and learn the ropes of high school. By having a student mentor on campus, it helps to guide incoming freshmen through their high school experience. And our mentors will not only be their mentors, but it will be someone that they can turn to and be their big brother and sister on campus. So what are the benefits of our program? Well, students are most likely, and they're more likely to succeed if they are able to develop good educational skills, as well as social and emotional skills. A program like this fosters positive development between older and newer students, because not only are newer students affected positively, but older students also receive the benefit of helping others and widening their perspective and ability to help more people. And as well, the student mentors can also gain community service from our program. So we hope that this program will be implemented as an elective program. Students will be able to meet during lunch, during school hours, or even after school. We thought it would be an amazing idea if the mentors and mentees were paired based on similar interests, hobbies, etc. The mentors and mentees will be paired through a Google form that they will fill out at the beginning of entering the program. Each mentor and mentee will fill out a Google form that includes a variety of different questions that pairs the mentors and mentees based off their answers to the questions. We believe this pairing is important because we feel if there are similar interests between the mentors and mentees, this will help them to interact and have a foundation to build their relationship. We believe our program is different because it focuses not only on academic support, but also emotional and social aspects. The mentees will have a big brother and sister on campus that will be there for them through their time navigating and figuring out high school. Wouldn't you want someone on campus who has already experienced the struggles of high school and to help you and to help make the transition less frightening? I know I would have let someone have on campus, like a big older, a big sister on campus to help guide me and show me the ropes of high school. Because when I started my freshman year, I didn't really have that support. And we feel that with this program, we can help those who may not have the support like we did. So this program is not to be resource intensive whatsoever, but we do want this program to offer substance to the students that participate in it. Students can be engaged through various activities like pizza parties, study events, and after-school activities. And we believe the best way for these events to happen is to have a budget of $50,000. We believe by having these study events and these parties, it'll allow for all the mentors and mentees to come together and create a stronger bond, as well as creating friends at these like get-togethers and these after-school activities. And it would also open them up to high school as well and make them feel more comfortable and ease into the transition. Thank you for listening and thank you for your time. And I had the pleasure of speaking and talking to you all. I'll now like to pass it off to part 2 of peer mentorship.
Okay, our part 2 mentorship members, Eileen Zarat, Brenda Ibarra, Janaya Turner, and Janara Wamil.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Janaya Turner. I am a senior at Middle College High School who will be attending UCR in the fall. I will be introducing our next group, which is the second part of the support group, and I will allow my team members to introduce themselves.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Janai Romil, and I'm a current junior student at Pacific High School.
Hello, everyone. My name is Eileen Salazar Miranda, and I am a sophomore at Indian Springs High School.
Good afternoon, everybody. I am also a sophomore at Indian Springs High School, and my name is Brenda Barr.
Okay, so our group name is Adulting, and we decided that Adulting will be a good name for our group because we feel that we will work better together. And basically, our group, we would like to support younger students with learning the basic steps on how to become an adult and how to be successful as an adult.
Hello, everyone again. Oftentimes I hear from my peers, why am I learning this if I don't plan to go to college? Or how am I going to apply this to my life when I grow up? Well, I want to shift their perspective. This program will be universal and accessible to diverse students, whether they want to attend a university or jump right into the career field. This project will allow mentees to graduate from high school and go into the world knowing how to be a successful adult. High school fails to teach students how to buy a house, a car, or manage their bills, or simply read a renter's lease. The list goes on. However, with the help of our program, students will learn and practice how to be a responsible adult before they even become one. Our students will be taught something that they will need during their toughest times as young adults. Thank you.
So for the purpose of our project, we feel like there is a need for students to get to know more knowledge on what the real world is like. And we would like to provide students with useful knowledge that will be crucial for them to know after high school, to provide students with information about college, taxes, financing, saving money, how to fix small problems that can occur, like a flat tire, and how to pay bills.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody again. First of all, I'd like to apologize if I'm not in my most professional manner right now. I cannot turn my camera on because I am not home. So I'm trying my very best to be here and read this for you guys. So I hope I do my best and you guys like it.
You're doing
Okay,
fine.
so-
Thank you.
Thank you. So who can help with this mentoring project? Mentees will be sophomores, juniors, and seniors. The program wants to prepare students that are towards the middle of and end of high school. For this reason, we have not chosen freshmen of high school to join this program because they are barely starting to begin high school and their high school experience. So if I were a freshman, I'd like to enjoy my first year, know what it's like to start being in high school. And then after that, I'd like to start preparing myself for the real world. So the people who can help with this program as the mentors are the upperclassmen, for example, Valley College students, university students, entrepreneurs, professionals, teachers, etc. These people can explain to the high school students about their experiences, for example, how they got to buy a car, how they paid their bills, living away from home, how was it for them, and the obstacles they went through to be successful, how they balanced buying to provide a meal for the family while paying bills or while studying. Simply as that, we would want to know, because I honestly in high school, nobody taught me in math, English, or Spanish how to pay my bills, how to pay my car. So I would like to know that because my parents have their own things to do. So I would like this program to happen so school can teach us how to do these things. Thank you.
As for incentives, well, aside from the knowledge that the participants will get from this program, they will also be receiving a certificate acknowledging their participation. And this said certificate can actually be added on resumes for future employment, as it demonstrates that even at a young age, this particular person is capable of successfully interacting and communicating with adults, as well as keeping up with them. Next slide, please. So for this program, we are requesting a fund of $30,000. Any questions?
Is that the end of the, Mr. Iliff, is this the end of this portion?
That was the end of that one, yes.
And then
Thank you
there's
for listening.
Thank you. And is there another one?
There is.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, we have our next group is campus involvement. The purpose is to familiarize students with stakeholder groups and provide resources that promote student success on high school campuses. And our presenter is Natalie Salazar.
Alrighty, good evening everyone. My name is Natalie Salazar. I'm a junior at Cajon High School and I am presenting on behalf of the Campus Involvement Committee. These are all of the amazing students who are part of the Campus Involvement Committee, who include Charisma, Leah, Manuel, Kaylee, Alice, Diana, and Kilo, and also Spencer, who is the other presenter. He could not make it here today, but you will see him in a special video later in a little bit. And so just for a little background before we present you with our actual project, we just wanted to go over as to what campus involvement really meant for us. At the beginning of our project, we were split into two separate groups, which were student relations and the mental health awareness group. We realized that during the pandemic, it was very difficult for students to be involved in their campuses because they were just out of it. whether it be emotionally or socially, because of everything that we were going through. Students were struggling with their grades, students were struggling with building relationships with their students and teachers because of the times that we were going through. I'm pretty sure everyone here has struggled with some sort of aspect of their mental health because we have been locked in our homes for so long, and we're finally being able to see the light at the end of the tunnel. So we have created a website where we have been listing multiple resources that students can use to take a break from school. And oftentimes students, especially students who work very dedicated to their academics, they don't really take breaks from school. Speaking as a personal experience as a student in the full IB program, breaks are something that you don't really get, right? Because you're constantly working to try to achieve as much as you can. And so the aim of our website was to just provide a safe space for students who might not feel comfortable in approaching programs that are based off of the social aspect, especially programs such as small group interventions or group therapies where you have to socialize with people. So we're trying to ease students into being able to approach mental health resources. So if we move on to the next slide, Spencer will be giving us a short video about what we included in our website.
Hi, I'm Spencer Nelson. I am a junior at Cajon High School and a student representative for the Campus Involvement Group. Alrighty, 1 second. So our two subgroups, mental health awareness and campus relations, had the goal to bring mental health resources and awareness to SBC USD students so that they could access them at any time during the COVID-19 crisis. We created the SSAC Campus Involvement Student Self-Care website, a virtual safe place where students could come practice self-care and relax. And then I'll go ahead and quickly play the video that we have. So this is just kind of like a little intro to our website, and it kind of just gives the gist, and we're still adding to it. And then we've got a little guide to how to take care of yourself, self-care, who we are as students and a group, just so students can feel a little bit more relatable and or connected to us. Just go ahead and let that play through. And then we've got a virtual and climbing room and more specific tabs, and just like music, playlists. We've got meditation, mindfulness, breathing exercises that students can access. We've got yoga, exercise. I already mentioned that. And then there's also a list of free apps that students can use. Some have premium options, some don't, but anyway. And then it goes more specific. So we have elementary, middle, high school options and hotlines that students can access. All right, 1 second. And then what would campus involvement want to see in the future? Moving forward, we would like to be able to work with students one-on-one in order to gather more accurate data. Sending out surveys to students provides us with very useful demographics, but they are limited in the sense that they don't give us specific information. Hopefully, using the data we gather, we will be able to help the students around the district who may feel voiceless during these struggling times. In the future, we also hope to see this website expand and improve with useful resources that benefit the students that use them. We aim in creating a space in which students can step away from their busy school lives to just take care of themselves. Thank you.
So Spencer covered the majority of what we wanted to say in that video, but I just want to reiterate that in the creation of this website, we aim to support all students who are struggling with mental health issues and struggling with being able to keep up with the motivation of their schoolwork. And this also includes all students that are part of the SBCUSD, including students who are also part of the LGBTQ community. And so our funding request, we are asking for $30,000 to pay extra duty for staff to be able to support mental health services, whether that be on campus mental health therapists or just mental health counselors that will be able to help students on campus when they need somewhere to go desperately, especially when we're coming back, because we all know that it won't be an easy transition, especially for those students who were already introverted before the pandemic, who have just become more comfortable in their homes. We're also asking for funding for guest speakers to hold mental health events, because sometimes we need people to be able to guide us in the correct directions. And when we have other students reach out to each other, it's just not enough. So we need that extra push. And we also just need it so we can have more student voice clubs and events that can just support all students in the aspects of mental health, and being able to engage students on their campus so we can build a whole bound together community on our campuses of students who continue to work hard and continue to achieve their dreams. Thank you so much.
Okay, our final group for this evening, Community Pride Through Relationships. Purpose is to promote positive expression and a more thriving community. And our presenters are Christina Haddad and Brandon Arango Alvarez.
Hello, everyone. My name is Christina Haddad. I am from San Gregorio High School, and I am a junior. Presenting with me today will be Brandon. He is from Arroyo. He is a sophomore. And next slide, please. We'll be presenting Community Pride. Our project is designed to educate individuals on the community of San Bernardino and the resources available. We've strived to shed light on those resources and promote positivity through hard times, such as the current pandemic we're in. We have collectively decided that our project will be launched through district social medias, and we have developed a Community Pride logo that we want to make sure that our logo stands out and creates an impact on those who see it. If you look over on the screen, our community logo is the Community Pride, Community Equality, and Creativity. And if you look below it a little bit, is a little slide or a little GIF created by a student. I would first like to thank Communications as well as an alumni for helping us create our project along the way and guiding us to do what we need to do for this project to be launched. Our project is for students to show off their creativity. They will be submitting Google Forms that showcase their beautiful ideas and projects. This will be launched on social medias for all of San Bernardino to see how our students think and are educated. We will also hope to showcase clubs, organizations, and more that students can join on their free time, such as Big Brothers and Big Sisters. We hope to shed light on these organizations for students to know that they are not alone and that there's things that they can do that can help them on their free time, even if they feel that no one can be there for them. They know that as a whole, we are there for them. And we hope that our medias that are launched will show them all that we have worked for in order to show, in order to show the community part of our district. Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Brandon Renko. The goal of our project is to reach out to students and their families to offer opportunities for expression and messages of encouragement through community pride. The beneficial impact we can have by allowing students a voice in our community is incalculably valuable. The means by which we intend to do this, for the most part, as has been said, is social media. As you know, social media is a large part of students' day-to-day lives and interactions with one another, so it is a fortunate convenience to have such a resource that are at our disposal. The ability to interact with students on a level of mutual understanding and respect will do much for their sense of worth as scholars of the SBCUSD. The communications department has helped us greatly through allowing us perspective and a good sense of scale for how we should go forward with our campaign. We hope to maintain this awareness and ability with our goals. This has been another healthy and inspiring challenge in our journey as students. And with the prospect of a greater community outreach on the horizon, there's a lot of motivation to see it through. Funding is essential to seeing our endeavors through, though. We have in mind a healthy investment of $25,000 to keep our campaign afloat, payment for committee members, including students and teacher representatives, community pride apparel, communications costs, and the extra duty needed to support and implement these valuable resources cannot come free. With your support, we should have no trouble keeping our momentum and arm extended to our peers within our community. Consistent communication and understanding between parties will benefit our campaign greatly. Members of the current committee will be graduating soon, so we will need to be able to reach out to the next prospective group of students to oversee this project. The continuation of this group will allow a continued platforming of my fellow students and a greater sense of community. Thank you for your time and consideration. Are there any questions?
Okay, I think we're there. Mr. Iliff, I can't see you anymore on my screen.
We do have one more piece with Mickey Chahusky. Mickey.
Ahead.
So good evening again, Dr. Rogers, Dr. Wyatt, board, Dr. Volkemer, and cabinet. As you can see, we have some fabulous scholars on the Superintendent Student Advisory Committee. And in spite of being virtual, we were able to build connection and community within our team. We're looking forward to being able to meet in person next year, and we appreciate your support for these student-led initiatives. All of these program proposals are student-led and student-developed. Too often we think we adults are the only experts in the room, and watching the creativity of our students and their investment in our district has been so rewarding. And it reminds us that students have experiential knowledge that should not go unnoticed. In the midst of this pandemic, they brought us hope and inspiration. We hope that you will fund and support their projects as presented and next year's Superintendent Student Advisory Committee so that they may implement these projects and continue their advocacy for their peers. As I conclude, I would like to thank my fellow facilitators for their hard work this year with the student committees, and Scott Iliff and Ryan Harsh for their infrastructure and staff support. And lastly, I would like to thank Dennis Warman for being our fearless leader and wish him well as he's retiring this year. He has to be one of the kindest, most student-centered people I know. Thank you all for your time and attention tonight, and most of all for your support. Sorry I got choked up over Dennis leaving. I'm having a hard time with that. Not seeing him at the wall will be rough when we go back. So thank you all.
Thank you all. What a wonderful presentation. We're giving a virtual hand clap to all of the students. I know there were tons of students on and everyone probably didn't get a chance to speak, but you were represented. So I first want to do that for all of you all that are on the call tonight. The chat was blowing up as I was trying to watch, and all the kudos are in there. And I believe I'm going to start with the comment from Mr. Tillman.
Yes, first, I didn't know Mr. Warman was retired, so congratulations, Mr. Warman. Mr. Warman was actually my daughter's second grade teacher a long time ago.
Mine too.
I remember when she was in Mr. Warman's class, I was getting ready to run for the school board. Mr. Warman said, "Are you a teacher?" I said, "No." "You're a principal?" "No." "Why are you running for the school board?" Anyway, I thought this was the superintendent's advisory. Do they ever talk to the superintendent?
Yeah.
Did they ask the superintendent for the money?
Yes, not yet, Mr. Tillman, but they have now.
We've been meeting throughout the year, and yes, and just a couple things too. Through CAPS and through we had a donation. This is unique for us this year too. We had a donation from Ralph's Supermarkets, Kroger, through the Making Hope Happen Foundation. And one of the things that we were able to use that money for is a stipend for the students. So, which is board approved, by the way. And so we were able to fund everything this year through other funding sources. And but moving into the future, we do need sustainable funding from the board, and that's why we had the asking for funding this time.
Yeah, I think the disconnect is if it's the superintendent's committee, the superintendent has access to the funds that you need. I mean, I know $30,000 and $50,000 may sound like a lot to the students, but it's no money. I mean, if Dr. Volkmer can't find that kind of money for legitimate things that they want to do, then the district's in trouble. So I'm just hoping that it's like Dr. Volkmer said. He said they haven't brought it to him yet, because I'm sure we can find the money, right, Dr. Volkmer?
We'll with the board's blessing, we'll absolutely build it into the budget for next year.
Thank you very much. And to all the students, great presentation. Thank you very much.
Dr. Flores.
Yes, I want to commend you all. You were so professional, and not only professional, but the depth and breadth of your recommendations and how you organize everything that's what we need. We need your voices, because we're adults and we don't know you that well, but you know each other. And so it was very inspiring. I loved every presentation. And I'd like to thank Mr. Warman and Mr. Elif. You guys did great. Mickey, you too. Dr. Rodriguez for supporting them. And I want to say you asked for too little. I think we as a board should give you $50,000 each. That's what I would recommend to my colleagues, because you have really high expectations, and I don't think 30,000 is going to meet all the things you guys want to do. So I would pose, fellow board members, 50,000. So Madam President, Dr. Rogers, I think we need to consider that. Thank you, and the rest of my colleagues. Thank you.
Thank you. And we have, I believe, Ms. Rosales Medina, were you in there somewhere with a comment? It keeps going and I'm losing. Ms. Rosales Medina, did you have a comment that got buried in there? If you are speaking, I don't hear you, or you may be on mute. And maybe not, I'm not sure. Well, I will, if she comes on, but I will say again, congratulations to the team and to the students. This has been an effort. I've had the pleasure of attending many of your meetings and just watching you allow the students give their input and their voices. And one of those slides in there definitely for the students when they talk about life skills and just how to change a tire and how those things are amazing. And you came up with it and I love it. We always speak on cost, whatever it costs, it costs. And I think you guys did some great things by just even creating budgets. I'm sure there's some reasons why, but we're here to support it. Dr. Volkmer, and we'll share the same thing with Superintendent Irving that's coming in. But I love it because you took it from start to finish and they allowed you to do that. And that's what we mean by student voice. We get behind you, but we listen to what you have to say. And then we tweak, because that's what life is all about. So great job. We appreciate you and just applaud you again for your resilience. You have met endless throughout this pandemic, and we appreciate that, because you guys could have easily said, well, and folded on it. But I went to meetings and I saw tons of students on the calls. So thank you all to the team for just working with our students. We appreciate you so much. Okay, and Dr. Volkmer, you also were going to recognize some other special people. I can't see you on the screen either, so you're probably looking at me and I don't see you, but there you are. Are you going to acknowledge some onboarders maybe?
I can, President Dowdy Rogers. Board, please join me in welcoming two of our newest management appointments that are going through our onboarding process, part of their onboarding process this evening, attending a board meeting. Eurydice Fitz, who is new principal at Kimbark Elementary School, and Isaura Ramirez Villa, who is the vice principal at Lincoln Elementary School. So if you could join me in giving them a round of applause. They're with us this evening. It's part of their onboarding experience.
All right, excellent. Thank you so much for your attentiveness, and congratulations to you all. We look forward to seeing you in person really soon. All right, we will now move to 3.0, which we will recess as the San Bernardino Board of Education and convene as the Board of Directors of the San Bernardino Schools Financing Corporation. 3.0. I think someone is unmuting or muting. 3.1, appointment of the Secretary and Treasurer to the Board of Directors of the San Bernardino Schools Financing Corporation. And I will read. At the December 15th, 2020 Board of Education meeting during the annual meeting of the Board of Directors of the San Bernardino School Financing Corporation, Interim Superintendent Harold Volkemer was appointed to serve as the corporation's secretary and treasurer. This term is to appoint the new superintendent. Be it resolved, effective January 1st, 2021, the Board of Directors of the San Bernardino School Financing Corporation appoints Superintendent Harry Doc Irvin to serve as the corporation's secretary and treasurer in place of Interim Superintendent Harold Volkemer.
So moved.
Madam President, you said January instead of June.
June, okay. Let me read it again. Be it resolved, effective June 1st, 2021, the Board of Directors of the San Bernardino Schools Financing Corporation appoints Superintendent Harry Doc Irvin to serve as the corporation's secretary and treasurer in place of Interim Superintendent Harold Volkemer.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and second. Is there any discussion? If not, Dr. Flores?
Aye.
Ms. Ceballos?
Aye.
Dr. Hill?
Aye.
Dr. Wyatt?
Aye.
Ms. Rosales Medina?
Aye.
Mr. Tillman? Mr. Tillman, can you hear me?
Aye.
Thank you. Dr. Dowdy Rogers, aye. Motion carried. Thank you. All right. Adjournment of the Board of Directors of the San Bernardino Schools Financial Corporation. And we are now reconvening as the San Bernardino City Unified School District's Board of Education. All right. We are now going to go into closed session. Let's see, are there any?
There are no comments for closed session.
I was looking for you, Ms. Cunningham. All right. I can't see on the screen anymore. It's too many people. Okay, all right. At this time, we will adjourn into closed session. And to our viewing audience, want to remind you, again, we are acknowledging our classified staff with a wonderful thank you video. So you will see that during our closed session time, and we will be back shortly. All right, board, we are going to close out and see you on the other side.
Hello, everyone. It is my privilege to bring you greetings during Classified Employee Appreciation Week. I am fortunate to have spent time in all of our San Bernardino City Unified Schools and buildings over my nearly 4 decades with the district, and I have personally witnessed on many occasions the selfless devotion that our classified team members have for their jobs, and more importantly, for the children of the district. Countless times since the start of distance learning last year, I've been reminded firsthand of the passion and commitment that classified employees bring to their work each and every day, whether they're working remotely or in person. Throughout the pandemic, your dedication, adaptability, professionalism, and resiliency has made it possible for our district to maintain operations and continuing to serve our students, families, and staff. And you will continue playing an integral role in the reopening of our campuses later this year. I know it hasn't been easy, and I want to thank and acknowledge all of our classified support staff who have contributed to our district's mission to continue making hope happen, especially during challenging times like these. I want you to know that your hard work is recognized, valued, and appreciated. You are true heroes working literally around the clock to make sure our schools get through this challenge together, and we are very grateful. Thank you.
Hello, classified employees. I'm proud to serve as your Board of Education President. As many of you know, I am a San Bernardino native and a proud Cardinal. That means I was fortunate to have benefited from the dedication of hardworking classified employees like you. Each May, during Classified Appreciation Week, We salute the important contributions of our thousands of classified school employees who play key roles in our education community. This year, classified employees have really stepped up to the challenge presented by the COVID-19 pandemic and proven to be essential workers serving our San Bernardino and Highlands students and schools like never before. Custodial staff have kept our campuses clean and safe, undergoing special training and state-of-the-art situation equipment that will help our learning and working spaces safer once we reopen. Food service workers have prepared millions of meals for students, with many of them working extra to ensure children are fed. Office and clerical staff have worked diligently to connect teachers with students studying remotely, while our information technology staff have equipped children with the devices they need for distance learning. Meanwhile, school police officers continue patrolling our school grounds around the clock to keep them safe and secure. Whether you work in or outside our classrooms and schools, we hope every classified employee feels pride in your chosen profession. Your dedication, caring, and expertise will leave a life-affirming impact on the lives of our students. Thank you for making hope happen, and we can't wait to see you when our schools' offices reopen.
Hello, it's Classified Employee Appreciation Week, and for the San Bernardino Unified School District, that means celebrating the thousands of staff members who make the wheels of this great school system turn every day. Classified employees often work outside the classroom to support the education of our students by managing front offices, preparing nutritious lunches, processing payroll for more than 8,000 employees, keeping our students and staff safe, and making sure our computers and classroom technology continue to function appropriately. You are our health aides, educational assistants, food service staff, custodians, maintenance workers, police officers, campus security guards, and many more. It truly takes all employees working together to educate our students. During this year of distance learning, the work of our dedicated classified employees allowed our teachers to focus on teaching remotely while supporting staff work to rearrange and sanitize classrooms in preparation for the coming school year, among so many other tasks. This support is vital to student success, and I encourage our entire community to join San Bernardino Unified School District in celebrating our amazing staff members and their commitment to providing the best educational experience for our children. Classified employees deserve our gratitude and appreciation not only this week, but all year long for their important contributions to our schools and offices. Thank you, classified staff, for all that you do. You're appreciated not just by me, but our entire school board.
Hello, San Bernardino City Unified School District classified employees. As your new superintendent, I am grateful for the opportunity to wish you a wonderful Classified Appreciation Week. While this week shines a much-deserved spotlight on you, every day is a great day to show our appreciation for the work you do. Classified employees are at the backbone of our public education system and vital to the ability to serve students in San Bernardino as well as in Highland. Each of you have diverse talents and hold a variety of jobs working directly with students, parents, and community members to help them access our schools. You serve nutritious meals to keep our kids healthy. You maintain our campuses to keep the children we serve safe. Whether you work out in front or from behind the scenes or in our offices, you make hope happen in various ways, both in and outside of the classroom. While I officially joined the San Bernardino City School District team on June 1st, I have already heard stories and seen firsthand the contribution classified employees have made, and I am thankful that you have remained adaptable and flexible, continuing to support the smooth operation of hundreds of offices, maintain the safety of buildings and properties, and work alongside teachers in distance learning classrooms. I generally appreciate your dedication, adaptability, professionalism, and resiliency during this unprecedented time. Without you, the district could not have continued serving our students, families, and staff. In closing, we know education is a vital service that is at the heart of our community, and we couldn't provide the highest quality educational experience without classified employees. So from me to you and on behalf of the Board of Education, happy Classified School Employee Appreciation Week. Thank you for all you do for our students and our entire school district. Be well and be safe. Thank you.
I'm excited for us classified to come back to work. It gives us a sense of things are getting back to normal and safety. I've missed my coworkers, and I'm excited for us to start back to a normal, regular routine where we see our extended family, which is here, our Cole family, and we hope that everything gets back to normal soon.
Okay, I'm excited to come back to work because that's mean that I'm gonna be available to enjoy the family and Cole too, and the kids, and we're happy for having our life back.
Hey, my name is Liz here at Hunt Elementary School. I am the health aide here. I'm very excited to come back after this whole long year. Can't wait to see all of our staff and students back again.
We're really happy to be here with our Coyote!
Hi, this is Deborah G. I'm the secretary at Del Vallejo Leadership and STEAM Academy, and I am thrilled to be back to work. It has been a long time coming, and reuniting with the office staff and the administrators face-to-face has just been wonderful. It's also been great to be able to focus on getting ready for the next school year. And big thanks to the district and to the board for going above and beyond the CDC guidelines so that as we needed to come and go over the course of this past year during this pandemic, we have felt safe in our offices and continue to feel safe. I am very thrilled at the prospect of being reunited with the entire Del Vallejo staff and students, and fully expect a very great 2021-22 school year. Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Linda at Hunt Elementary School, and we are back to work, and we are excited to meet all of our new friends at school.
The biggest positive to come out of this week is just watching my team's growth. Honestly, we worked really hard through distance learning, and we made it a point to meet regularly and to find ways of effective communication and to start day one in circles and everybody be given the opportunity to voice the concerns that they had about returning and to voice the support that they felt that they needed and to voice the excitement that they had in certain areas with such ease. It was amazing to watch. And we created our classified rotation schedule together, so there wasn't a decision that was made unless we were all on board. And that alone made me so excited because everything we had been working towards this entire year just came into play. And so I'm super excited. What's next? We can handle it. Let's get back to work already.
Hi, my name is Denise. I'm here at the Hunt site. I'm excited to be working here. This is my first year, so I'm excited to meet all the kids, all my coworkers, and just be back a regular year. We hope to see you soon.
Hi, my name is Annette Brown. I work at Del Vallejo Middle School. I've been there for about maybe 10 years now. I done lost track. Anyway, I just wanted to show you my shirt. Look at the shirt, girl. Proud to wear this shirt. Oh, ooh, yeah. Ooh, yeah. Anyway, proud to wear this shirt. And like I say, I've been there through a whole bunch of trials and tribulations. And this year has been a hard year for everyone. But DV has good people. We have a good team. We have a good principal. So the good in us, or the good in anybody actually, will bring out the good in other people. So I just wanted to say that I have been back on campus and things are looking good. The safety measures are put in place. We all feel comfortable in coming back. Well, I feel comfortable. I can't speak for everyone. And, you know, I just want to say that strength doesn't come from winning. Your struggles develop your strength. When you go through hardships, and I have been through many, believe me, and you decide not to quit, that's where your strength comes from. I tell my son that all the time, you know, you got to keep it going. You got to keep pushing. If you fall, you get back up, you get back on that horse. Hey, and DV has failed many of times, but we're still standing and we're not going anywhere. So I just want to say I am a very, very pleased employee that works for the district and Del Vallejo. Let me show you my shirt again. Okay, there you go. Yeah, this is our new shirt and I love it. So thank you so much, and I will be seeing you.
Hello, welcome to Thompson Elementary. Vilma Sandoval, principal of Thompson Elementary. Here we are, we're excited to be back. We're getting everything ready to ensure that everything is safe for our students to return. We miss you so much.
Hi, this is Chris Matthews, the secretary at Thompson Elementary. We're excited to be back, making hope happen.
Hi, I'm Julio with Thompson Elementary, making sure our classrooms are disinfected for the safe return of students at our school.
Hey, I'm Lars Lovell, program facilitator at Thompson Elementary School, and I am stoked to be back on campus and being ready to prepare and facilitate the return that's going to be positive, exciting, and hopeful for all of our scholars.
Hi, Anna Gonzalez, the counselor of Thompson Elementary. I'm excited to be back and prepare for the safe and social emotional well-being of our students and staff.
Hi, I'm Jesse Garcia, the research teacher here at Thompson Elementary. We're excited to be back so we can support the needs of all of our students.
Hi, I'm Yara Pisa, attendance assistant at Thompson Elementary. Excited to be back. Remember to be here every day. Attendance matters.
Hi, I'm Nancy Galaviz. I'm the health aide at Thompson Elementary. I'm excited to be back to keep everyone safe and healthy.
Hi, my name is Miguel. I'm from Hunt Elementary here at the district, and just wanted to say how excited I am to actually come back. We're excited to have the kids back for summer school, and I'm excited to actually be with my coworkers. We're like a family. We're 8 hours with each other, so seeing them again and seeing the kids, it's actually exciting. So I hope that you feel the same way too.
Okay, great. All right, thank you all for your patience. We are now going to resume our board meeting. We are now at 6.1, HR Class 20-21-13-ER Human Resources. Be it resolved that the Board of Education accepts the notification of recommendation for disciplinary actions and statement of charges to dismiss the following classified employee from his or her employment with the district, HR Class 20-21-13-ER.
So moved.
Second.
All right, it's been moved in second. If there's no further discussion, I will go ahead and call for the vote. Dr. Flores?
No.
Ms. Ceballos?
Aye.
Dr. Hill?
Aye.
Dr. Wyatt?
Aye.
Ms. Rosales Medina?
Well, I'm sorry. For some reason, I couldn't hear. Can you wait until the end?
Dr. Rogers, I'm so sorry. I was thinking it was something else. I say aye. Please
Okay,
change.
so let me reread it again so everyone is clear. Be it resolved that the Board of Education accepts the notice of recommendation for disciplinary action and statement of charges to dismiss the following classified employee for his or her employment with the district, HR Class 20-21-13-ER.
Aye. Oh, second.
Okay, so
That's
it's been
also
moved.
an aye.
So we're entertaining the motion again. So it's been moved in second. If there's no further discussion, I'm going to call for the vote. Dr. Flores?
Aye.
Ms. Ceballos?
Aye.
Dr. Hill?
Aye.
Dr. Wyatt? Dr. Wyatt?
Sorry, I thought I was off. Aye.
Ms. Rosales Medina?
Aye.
Mr. Tillman?
Aye.
Dr. Dowdy Rogers, aye. Motion carried. All right, 6.2, Associate Superintendent, Business Facilities and Operations, HR. Be it resolved that the Board of Education approve the appointment of the following employee: Harold Sullins, Associate Superintendent, Business Facilities and Operations, effective date, work year, and salary to be determined.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and second. If there is no discussion, Dr. Flores.
Before I vote, I want to tell the public why I'm voting the way I'm voting. I believe that we need someone more experienced with larger districts, and I want the best for our community. So my vote is nay.
Ms. Ceballos?
Aye.
Dr. Hill?
Aye.
Dr. Wyatt?
Aye.
Ms. Rosales Medina?
Nay.
Mr. Tillman?
Aye.
Dr. Dowdy Rogers, aye. Motion carried. Thank you. We are now moving to our public hearing, 7.1, Memorandum of Understanding, Extension of SBTA, SBCUSD Collective Bargaining Agreement between the San Bernardino Teachers Association and the San Bernardino City Unified School District. And we are now opening up the public hearing, and I believe there is comments.
Yes, Madam President. Ashley Beatis-Akala would like to make a comment on this one.
All right.
Ashley, if you could please unmute.
Good evening, President Rogers, members of the board and cabinet. I am Ashley Beatis-Akala, President of the San Bernardino Teachers Association. SBTA and the district recently came to agreement on the extension of our contract and a reopener on wages. We urge your approval of this memorandum of understanding so we can continue to focus on negotiating other important matters related to the COVID pandemic and our return to in-person learning. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. And Mrs. Cunningham, is there any other comments?
Not for this item, no.
All right, thank you. I'm now closing the public hearing. Be it resolved that the Board of Education adopts Memorandum of Understanding, Extension of SBTA, SBCUSD Collective Bargaining Agreement between the San Bernardino Teachers Association and the San Bernardino City Unified School District.
So moved.
Second.
All right, there's a motion and a second. If there's no further discussion, Dr. Flores?
Aye.
Ms. Ceballos?
Aye.
Dr. Hill?
Aye.
Dr. Wyatt? Dr. Wyatt?
Aye.
Ms. Rosales Medina?
Aye.
Mr. Tillman?
Aye.
And Dr. Dowdy Rogers, aye. Motion carried. 7.2, Memorandum of Understanding, In-Person Summer School 2021 between the San Bernardino City Unified School District and the San Bernardino Teachers Association. I am opening the public hearing, and I believe there is comments.
Yes, Madam President. Ashley Beatis-Akala has to comment on this one as well.
Okay.
Good evening again, President Rogers, members of the board and cabinet. SBTA and the district worked quickly and collaboratively, and we were able to negotiate a comprehensive agreement on our summer school programs that are being offered to students in a few short weeks. We again urge your approval of this memorandum of understanding so we can ensure a smooth transition from the end of the school year and into our in-person summer school programs that will be offered. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. And Mrs. Cunningham, is there any other comments?
No, Madam President, there are none.
All right, I will close the hearing. Be it resolved that the Board of Education adopts Memorandum of Understanding, In-Person Summer School 2021 between the San Bernardino City Unified School District and the San Bernardino Teachers Association.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and second. If there's no further discussion, Dr. Flores?
Aye.
Ms. Ceballos?
Aye.
Dr. Hill?
Aye.
Dr. Wyatt?
Aye.
Okay. Ms. Rosales Medina?
Aye.
Mr. Tillman?
Aye.
And Dr. Dowdy Rogers, aye. Motion carried. Thank you. We are now moving to 8.1, public comments. And I will read. Public comments. This is the only time the public will have an opportunity to address the board on items not on the agenda and within their subject matter jurisdiction, such as district policies, procedures, programs, services, or fiscal matters. Pursuant to the provision of the Governor's Executive Order N-2920 dated March 17, 2020, certain requirements of the Ralph M. Brown Act are suspended. If you would like to make a live comment at district board meetings, a registration form is required. Forms can be found on the district's website and Facebook. This registration form is available for 24 hours prior to all scheduled Board of Education meetings and will close at 4:30 p.m. on the day of the meeting. Public comments are limited to 5 minutes per person, and all comments submitted on one subject will be provided no more than 30 minutes total. A timer will be visible on the screen during your comments. We ask that you monitor your time. Participants are reminded that any inappropriate language or images will forfeit their registration and they will immediately be removed from the meeting. Speakers are cautioned that under California law, no person is immune from liability for making intentionally false or defamatory comments regarding any person simply because these comments are made in a public meeting. Mrs. Cunningham?
Thank you, Madam President. Our first speaker is Derek Bass. Mr. Bass, if you're available, please unmute.
Thank you, Board President Dowdy Rogers, Vice President Wyatt, board members and cabinet members for giving me the opportunity to share and highlight some of the great things that we have going on at New Vision Middle School, located in San Bernardino in the Highland area. We currently have 432 enrolled students, with 150 of them attending in-person learning for the hybrid instruction model for our recent reopening back in April. We've been having this learning model since April 5th. We've seen an increase in the student engagement and a decrease in the number of students who had failing grades before we went back to this hybrid model. Our teachers have been able to develop deeper relationships with our students, as well as this allowed some peer-to-peer and social interaction for our students as well. We've become creative with our stakeholder engagement. We have hosted and continue to host it monthly drive-through events, weekly community food distribution, and other spirit-filled events to ensure that our students are just engaged throughout the pandemic as well. This month, we are recognizing the Mental Health Awareness Month with activities scheduled for our students, our teachers, and our parents as well. Once again, thank you for your time, and thank you for this opportunity to tell you a little bit about what we have going on at New Vision Middle School with Real Journey Academy.
Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, our next speaker is Carol Husband. Ms. Husband, if you're available, please unmute.
Thank you, everybody. 1 second, sorry. I am very happy to see our schools are returning to in-person in the fall, and the summer school is being offered in person as well. Although I hope that the board and the district realize that 1 month of summer school is not going to make up for the last year's inadequate academics. We missed an opportunity to get our kids back to school at the end of this year, and the first part of next year will no doubt be an extensive learning period for our kids to get accustomed to new procedures. Wearing a mask all day long will take its toll. Asking kids to wear a mask in classroom all day will be challenging, and patience will be tested. But I don't understand the reasoning of wearing masks outdoors. Positive COVID cases have decreased and continue to decrease. When it comes to outdoor transmission of COVID, it is extremely rare. There has been studies to show that the percentage of transmission rate is extremely low. There is no scientific rationale to support masking kids outdoors. Many states have already allowed kids to play freely without masks, and many doctors are voicing concerns over the damage to kids' physical and mental health by wearing masks during outdoor activities. With California's vaccination rate increasing, the reduction of positive cases, and the low outdoor transmissibility, we need to drop the outdoor mask requirements for our kids during recess, sports, PE, and other outdoor activities. We need to consider other immediate risk of overheating, headaches, dizziness, and shortness of breath that can be caused by wearing masks during playing hard. Our state is preparing to relax mask regulations, and by next year, I would think outdoor mask requirements will be obsolete. I asked the board not to drag their feet and to even add this maybe to the road map to opening 2021-22. We need to be advocates for our kids and give parents the rights to make decisions about their children's own health. Our kids have suffered so much during this pandemic. Next year, we need to allow our kids to socialize naturally with their peers and to move into healthy ways to bring back normalcy to their lives. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam President, that's all the comments this evening.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Cunningham. And let me move now to 9.0, reports and comments by union organization. 9.1, San Bernardino Teachers Association.
Good evening again, President Rogers, members of the board and cabinet. Thank you for approving our contract extension and reopener and our memorandum of understanding on summer school. I am also speaking to you tonight on behalf of the 3,000 members of SBTA. I want to first take a moment to recognize our classified brothers and sisters during this Classified Appreciation Week. We cannot do this work without you, and on behalf of SBTA, we thank you for all of the work that you do throughout our district, as you are the backbone of everything we do in every school, department, facility, and building, and it's an honor to work alongside you serving our families in the community. Also, in case you didn't know, board, May is Better Speech and Hearing Month, and today, May 18th, is also National Speech Language Pathologist Day. And we want to acknowledge and thank our district SLPs for the specialized work they do, their creativity, and for their commitment to making a difference in not only our students, but their families' lives as well. I'd also like to bring your attention to consent item 12.30, which is our agreement with Footsteps to Brilliance. I just want to remind the board, since it's been a while since we had some conversation about this program, it's currently accessible for free to all of our families who live within the school district boundaries, and many of our primary teachers have been using it pre-pandemic and now during the pandemic as a resource with their students to support literacy during distance learning. I also want to remind the board that if there is professional development related to this program, that SBTA and the district would work collaboratively as we have done in the past to determine when and how it would be offered. And finally, tonight, as you know, every year SBTA honors our Monty Award winners and our retirees with an annual dinner. Unfortunately, due to COVID last year, we had to cancel the event, but this year we are hosting a virtual event, and I would like to invite all of our board members and cabinet to join us on Thursday, May 27th at 4 p.m. I will share the registration information with Karen Cunningham if you are able to join us as we celebrate those who are leaving us and the many of our nation's top educators and awardees. Thank you for your time this evening.
Thank you. All right, up next, 9.2, San Bernardino School Employees Association. Is there a representative?
Yes.
Okay. Hello.
Hello. Good evening, board president, board members, cabinet, and all attendees. My name is Miguel Villalobos. I am the chief. I'm the negotiation chair for CSEA Chapter 183. And it's a privilege to be with you all again this evening. And I want to start off by acknowledging all of our classified employees for Classified Employees Week. We appreciate you all joining in this evening on thanking them for all that they do. They're the core and the behind the scenes force that keeps this district running smoothly. From rec aides, instructional assistants, and tutors that assist with our students, to clerical and secretarial staff that not only assist, but ensure that everyday operations for the school and the district are intact and running. To the specific department staff that keep those key departments running, such as payroll, human resources, personnel commission, elementary instruction, accounting, benefits, fiscal, purchasing, information technology, enrollment services, nutrition services, school police, campus security, community engagement, family engagement, preschool central, child development, translation services, communications, warehouse, printing services, accounts payable, English learners, language assessment, business services, secondary education, special education, youth services, and others that I might have inadvertently missed, whose influence and involvement can be felt district-wide, and who are key to the continuum of operations. Lastly, but surely not the least, we thank the custodial staff, building services, maintenance operations, and various trades who keep our sites and campuses running in top shape and keep areas maintained and in working order. Classified, you're not only the wheels, but in part the motor and other internal running components, since you're all spread out in every area of the district. You keep the bus running. Even though the district, its management, certificated, may be the framework, and the teachers may be in the driver's seat moving all the students to a proper education, things just would not run the same, or the bus wouldn't run at all if it was not for all of you, the faithful classified staff who put on your boots every day and give it your all behind the scenes. Again, we not only acknowledge you, we thank you. Additionally, we want to give a special thank you to the essential workers that throughout this whole pandemic have been in the front lines working through it all to provide the much needed essential services only they can deliver. They are true heroes. We also wanted to take the time to mention how exciting it is to be back at work. It is a joy to see our coworkers, since they are like family, who we see 8 hours a day. We're also looking forward to seeing the students in the near future for summer school as things slowly go back to a normal. We appreciate the district's open communication and constant updates on the return to work process, adhering to direction and protocols while having employee safety in mind, making the return to work process smooth during the transition. I also want to thank the district for allowing classified staff to work additional hours during the summer school for those that are not normally scheduled during the summer to assist in this opportunity. Lastly, we are also excited to announce that our initial proposal is going through the 610 process to be voted, ratified, and submitted to the district soon. We look forward to the continual partnership with the district and working through the diverse topics that negotiations has to offer. Our aim is to have favorable and prompt negotiation sessions where all parties end in a mutual agreement. We hope the same focus remains to have our classified workforce not only comparable, but competitive amongst other districts, while keeping the focus of hiring the best and keeping the best as the forefront of our commitment in thanking our classified workforce for all that they do. Having results at the negotiations table would be an opportunity to show just that, how much the classified workforce is appreciated within our district, and we look forward to that. Thank you.
Thank you. 9.3, Communication Workers of America. Is there a representative?
Yes, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, honorable board and SBC USD cabinet. I'm Teresa Hunter with CWA 9588, representing the guest teachers with San Bernardino City Unified School District. We're absolutely enthusiastic about the scholars of SBC USD resuming in-person academics with the help of the guest teachers of SBC USD. And I believe that we have really learned the importance of health habits, some important health habits that many of us learned as young people. And I now believe that hopefully most of us have become reacquainted with those health habits, and that we will continue to practice those as time goes on, because we now know the importance of them, how important it is to be able to practice these habits, and so that they cannot, or they can interfere with the spreading of disease. This is something that most of us never thought we would see, I'm sure. So we also salute the classified employees this month, and we thank them for all the service, all the things that they do. And we just look forward to getting back, normalizing. And again, we thank you so much and have a great evening.
Thank you. 9.4, San Bernardino School Police Officers Association. Is there a representative tonight? All right, if not, we will move into our presentations. 10.0, 10.1, 2021-2022 Board of Education meeting calendar.
Thank you, President Rogers. Board, it's that time of year when we ask you to adopt your meeting calendar for the subsequent or the upcoming school year 21-22. We've developed a draft for your consideration, and it mirrors the calendar, meeting calendar that you are operating from this year. So we'll open it up to you for any input and decision that you have.
All right, board.
So how does this work? What are the yellows for the board meetings?
Yes. Yellow are the board meetings.
And there's only one. How many months are there only one board meeting? 2 months?
Is that July and is that January?
December.
And December.
I believe there's three. I don't have it in front of me.
It's July, January,
and December.
Well, looks like in December. Yeah, that's the other one.
And we only had one meeting in last December and this January?
Correct. That's correct. As well as July. Last July.
And this July is only one meeting?
Mm-hmm.
I have a concern with that. I mean,
you could do it after the new year and then the following week.
Well, I think July is the one I have the most concern with.
Okay, July.
Because so much stuff is coming up and it's new. I just to have only one meeting in July, I don't think that's a good idea.
Okay. Any other input? So it could be what, the 6th?
We could do that. I would suggest we do the 6th and the 20th.
The 6th? Yeah, the 6th. Did you say the 6th and the 20th?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree with Mr. Tillman.
Any other input?
So do I. I agree with Mr. Tillman. Dr. Flores.
Okay, I think I heard everyone else. We can add that. So just make it a regular. Dr. Volkmer, just out of curiosity, what was the concern about that first week that we were like that? I don't. It was odd that it went to the 2nd. Was something happening that we don't remember?
Are you talking about July, President Rogers?
In July, yes.
Yeah, we just put it in the middle of the month.
Okay.
To not go too far without a board meeting.
Okay.
Just spaced it out. But if the board wants to have two, that's an easy adjustment to make.
We'll just capture back the regular schedule, which would be the 6th and the 20th.
I support that recommendation, the 6th and the 20th, especially since the 4th is on a Sunday.
Yes, true. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so you,
right.
I don't think this is just a adjustment, so we're not voting on that. Dr. White, did you say something?
No, I was just in agreement as well.
Okay.
That makes a lot of sense to me too.
And it might have been the 4th was kind of crazy before. Okay, so Dr. Volkmer, is that what you need?
Mm-hmm. We'll make that adjustment for you and we'll get that out to the public.
Okay, great. And then we'll go to 10.2. The governors may revise and budget.
Excuse me, Madam President.
Do I need to vote on that? Is that what you're going to tell me?
Yes, you do.
We need to take action. Okay.
Yes.
Be it resolved that the Board of Education receives and accepts the 2021-2022 Board of Education meeting calendar as amended. Actually.
So moved.
Second.
All right. It's been moved in second. And if there's no other discussion, Dr. Flores.
Aye.
Ms. Ceballos.
Aye.
Dr. Hill.
Aye.
Dr. Wyatt.
Aye.
Ms. Rosales Medina.
Aye.
Mr. Tillman.
Aye.
And Dr. Dowdy Rogers, aye. Motion carried. Thank you. All right, 10.2, the governors may revise and budget update and AB 86 update.
Great, thank you, Madam President. Board, this evening, we're pleased to bring you an update on the next regular piece of the annual budget cycle the governors may revise. If you look back at where we were this time last year, we were facing a $50 billion plus deficit at the state level, which was translating to a $96 million projected shortfall for our district. Fortunately, through some state budget gymnastics, we were able to avoid those cuts. Very thankful for that. And here we are a year later, we find ourselves in a very different situation with a projected $75 billion surplus at the state and significant amounts of one-time dollars coming our way from both state and federal sources. So this evening, Janie's going to bring us an update on the May revise. It is very new. It's still being interpreted, and we're getting new briefings almost daily. And it will go through a number of iterations and negotiation with the legislature. But we're going to bring you an update around the May revise. And then Mrs. Applegate is going to bring you information on our spending plan for AB 86, which is just a portion of the large number of dollars that are coming in, which will lead to, no doubt, a series of budget presentations to the board as we move forward in spending what is a significant amount of money. We do have a June 1st deadline for just those, that amount of money associated with AB 86. So we're going to bring that to you as well, bring back additional presentations as we round out the ESSER program. So I'm going to turn it over to Janie and Anna. But first, I want to thank them and their teams for their hard work that went into putting tonight's presentation together. It's hard to imagine that spending a lot of money can be burdensome almost in terms of, what are we going to do with this much money? But our teams have been working very hard to make sense of that. And so we're going to bring you an update this evening. Janie and Anna.
Thank you, Dr. Volkemer. Go ahead and advance the slide. So I have to say that first, it's such great news. It's probably the best May revise I've ever shared in my career. So this is exciting. We'll talk a little bit about the May revision. As Dr. Volkemer said, the information continues to unfold, and we still don't know exactly what it means to our district on the per pupil amount. We have a workshop on Thursday, which provides more information. And then we also, many things can change until it's adopted at the end of June. We'll give the state budget update, investments in education, and then Mr. Komnick will talk about AB 86 and then our next steps. Next slide, please. So Dr. Volkemer stole my slide here. So you can see on the left, it was really gloom and doom last year, right? All the clouds and that large state deficit brought on by the pandemic, or projected deficit. And then now we're looking at a surplus. So what a difference a year makes, for sure. And this is historical, the highest level of funding in California history. But just know that a lot of it is one time. So we'll have to navigate that as we move through the budget. Next slide. So Governor Newsom announced this robust stimulus plan. I'm sure you've all read about it, investing significantly in the homelessness crisis, providing relief to taxpayers, rental assistance, and other, utility cost relief, supporting the state's water infrastructure, and again, the highest investment in education for a total transformation over the next 5 years. His roadmap is to address structural opportunity gaps by 2025-26 and really ensure that all students have access and there's equitable distribution. So the next slide. Governor Newsom will invest an additional $20 billion for public education. Proposition 98, which is what funds education, will be at an all high of $93.7 billion. Those of you that were around in 2011-12 recall when Prop 98 was funded at $47.3 billion. So it's almost double what it was coming out of the recession. There's going to be a COLA and a super COLA. So this year we didn't receive a COLA. The governor proposes a compounded COLA for this year and next year, taking what we should have got this year and compounding, adding it to next year, and then adding another 1% to help offset the cost of the unemployment rate increase. And it's about, the unemployment rate increase is about $5 million for our district. So that extra 1% will be very helpful. He's proposing the LCFF concentration grant funding increase from 50% of the base to 65% of the base, and once fully implemented in about 5 years. So we've seen several different things on this particular item, and I can't wait to bring you more information on the specifics. LCFF will not be held harmless in 21-22. So if you'll recall, we're being held at the 1920 level. And next year, we'll still use 1920, but when you get into 22-23, it's the greater of 22-23 or 21-22. So very important that we get all of our students back in school and we get that ADA in. Next slide. So the STRS did go up from his January budget by about 1%. The PERS rate is reduced from 23% to about 22.91, and no relief from future increases. We believe it would be a great investment for the state to do that, to contain those costs. The GAN limit provision is triggered when state revenues exceed a certain threshold. And the state constitution says that when the state revenues exceed this threshold, the governor and the legislature are required to divide the excess between support for schools and rebates to taxpayers. So I think you've probably read about some of those rebates that he's proposing as well. The deferrals were reduced to $2.6 billion. So this is great news as well for our district. Next slide. So here's a lot of the information that we got from the budget related to education. Expanded universal TK beginning in 22-23 through 24-25, when all 4-year-olds will be eligible. It's a phase-in funding with next year a planning year. And so his intent is that all 4-year-olds have access by 24-25. A comprehensive after-school, summer school expanded learning time. It will grow to $5 billion in 5 years. And so we'll see what that means for next year. And so recognizing that our students will need assistance for the next couple of years and providing that extra support for them. Mental health services improved and more integrated system between schools, healthcare, and mental health organizations are proposed. Educator preparation, retention, and training multi-year package. And then he talks about converting school campuses into full service community schools. And 60% of LEAs will qualify. So we'll find out more about who qualifies for that and if we are included in that. High dose tutoring, it's one-time funding, and it will augment the AB 86 that you'll hear about a little later in the presentation. Opening a savings account for 3.7 million students and putting $500 in there and giving additional funding for foster and homeless youth. And these are students that qualify for the free and reduced lunches that will get this one-time this savings account. And then using funds to lower adult and student ratios. So it's not specific to the classroom, but how many adults are on a school site and trying to reduce those ratios as we move through the next couple of years. And that's the end of my part before I turn it over to Mr. Komnick. We're having a couple questions, I think, or do you want me to keep moving, Gwen, Dr. Rogers?
I was trying to come off mute. Mr. Tillman?
Yes, couple questions. So in line number 2, it says comprehensive after school and then summer school. How does this comprehensive after school compare to our regular after school CAPS program?
Yeah, so it will go to districts with higher unduplicated percentages and eventually will be in the LCFF grant concentration. I actually pulled some stuff off the governor's webpage. Let me see, Danny, if I can find.
I guess from a practical perspective, my question is, does this mean that we'll use this money to pay for the existing after school program? No?
No, this is an addition in providing more. It's my understanding. It will be even more.
Okay, we'll start that conversation. Then the other question, what is a full service community school?
Yeah, so he comments on how community schools really come together and have more wraparound services for students, and he'd like to see more of that and to supplement and augment that. And so, you know, again, we don't have a lot of details, and only so many LEAs qualify. So that's all we know right now. It's just more about having the hub at the school with access to, you know, any mental health services, tutoring, and all of that. So we'll bring this information back to you once we know more.
And it'd be great if we could identify a quote unquote full service community school that exists already, if they do, so we can go and look at it and determine what it would take for us to create the same thing here, if that's possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tillman.
Okay, that was all the questions.
And I'll turn it over, and you can advance the slide to Mr. Komnick.
Great, thank you, Ms. Christakis, and good evening, Dr. Dowdy Rogers and Vice President Wyatt, Cabinet, and stakeholders. I really appreciate the opportunity to provide a informational update regarding Assembly Bill 86. I think we're on the cusp of incredible opportunity, not only with AB 86, but with, as we look at our regular LCAP and LCFF funding and what Ms. Christakis spoke about upcoming, we've got a fantastic opportunity to really leverage our resources and propel our district to the highest possible levels that we can do. And working together, we definitely can do this. Please advance the slide. Thank you. So the AB 86, and this is interesting. Again, I'd like to say the board was ahead of the curve, and it seems to be that very often with the development of our ASAP plan. And really the AB 86 Expanded Learning Opportunities Grant Plan came in just after we had already started expanding on that, talking about it, building it. And so the ASAP plan really finds itself embedded, for the most part, in our Expanded Learning Opportunities Grant. So we, again, ahead of the curve. And what this grant will do for us is it really focuses on that student-centered approach, supplemental instruction and supports. This is above and beyond the funding we normally get. But it's related to 7 critical areas. And I'll share those on the next slide in just a moment. But total for this specific grant, as Dr. Volker said, is $42.1 million, of which $3.8 million is committed and dedicated to our paraprofessional services to provide direct services to our students. 85% of these funds, of the total funds, need to be spent on in-person learning, and 15% can be used to increase or improve distant learning services. So we're not going to leave our distant learning services behind, but really the focus is on in-person instruction. The Expanded Learning Opportunities Grant does come with an approval date of June 1st, and so we are presenting this to you tonight. But it also has a sunset date of August 31st, 2022. So it'll be a very fast year, but we have got solid strategies included in this grant opportunity, and I'll share those on the next slide. Next slide, please. So here we have, and again, these are broken down for us in the critical areas that are part of or that make up the expanded grant opportunities. So the first one is extending instructional learning time, and this is inclusive of like summer school, summer sessions, possibly spring sessions, and so forth. Again, trying to capture that extended learning time to the benefit of our students. About 24.4 million is set there. Accelerating progress to close learning gaps that may have occurred over this past year through the implementation, expansion, and reinforcement of learning supports. And roughly about 8.4 million is there. And that might look like tutoring, additional tutoring. That could also be our resident guest teacher program that Dr. Doizan implemented this past year with our elementary instruction, very successful. Looking to expand this with this opportunities grant to serve a wider cross-section of our students, particularly at the elementary level. The integrated student supports to address other barriers in learning. So this again is going to really tie into our tiered physical wellness program. As you know, Colleen Williams has been instrumental in delivering that not only to our students, but also to our community. We also will have in the The fourth criteria, community learning hubs that provide students with access to technology, high-speed internet, and academic supports. About $500,000 set there, again, to ensure that our students, for those in distance learning, remain connected with continuity of instruction as well. Another criteria that's critical is supports for credit deficient students. So again, we're looking at those students who are oh so close to graduating to make sure that we get them over the edge, if you will, into the graduation arena. And the funding for this criteria is captured in the first one for our extended learning opportunities. We also have additional academic services for students. And this might look like our independent study program, but also includes a real detailed focused progress monitoring. I think it's critical to not only have that diagnostic piece that identifies where our students are, where we can start to serve them as we try to get back into our in-person environment, and with monitoring. It's very critical that we monitor their progress. We can make adjustments. The one thing nice about this plan is there can be adjustments made to it. So as it's set up, it's not necessarily in stone, but it is something that is flexible, if you will, as we go through our year and come upon realities that we may not have addressed or saw at this time. And finally, that last item there, there is a training for student staff and staff. This is a critical piece for professional development to ensure that our staff have the tools, the content knowledge, the pedagogy, the strategies to deliver, especially now with our students as we return to in-person learning. And then the paraprofessional piece that I mentioned earlier at $3.8 million. All total, that comes up to $42.1 million. And again, that is just a small piece of our investments in the grand scheme of our investments coming forward in this coming year. Ms. Christakos?
Thank you, Terry. Next slide. And so, board, as we move through this, the team will attend the School Services of California analysis. They usually give us very good information related to each district, but just know a lot can still happen between now and the time the state adopts its annual budget. We're going to use the best information we have to put our budget together, but we can always do revisions as needed. June 8th, we will present the budget and the LCAP report, the public hearing. On the 15th, the legislature recommends the budget to the governor. We understand that it seems as though it will be close to what we're sharing with you today, but you just never know. And then the final adoption for the district budget will take place on June 22nd, and then the state adopts the annual budget. As you'll recall, any major changes will be brought to the board, and they go to the county by August, any changes in that state budget. So all in all, great news. It'll just be, balancing the one time with the ongoing, ensure that we have the best supports for our students as we move into this next year. And I thank you very much.
Talking again on mute. Mr. Tillman?
Can we go to the slide before this one? So I'm assuming this $42 million is $42 million for our district.
That is correct, Mr. Tillman.
Right. And then where it says extending instructional time, what have we negotiated that with the unions and how we're going to do that? Has there been discussion?
Mr. Tillman, yes, right now we have negotiated the summer school. Dr. Funches has taken care of that. The intersession will be voluntary, so we don't necessarily need to negotiate that. So the pieces that we have incorporated already, Dr. Funches, and I think he was about ready to speak, so I will let him go ahead and speak to that.
You're making an important point, because are you telling me that the summer school that we were talking about already is synonymous with this?
Yes, that's correct. The summer school that has been planned for the summer is part of this.
Yeah, and I guess, so then the CARES money, we were talking about CARES money before. This is not CARES money. And we were talking about extra $300 million in CARES money. And I thought we were talking about using that for summer school. So or I guess the question is, so this is not the only money you're going to use for summer school?
That's correct, Mr. Tillman. We're leveraging all of our dollars.
And the challenge is going to be to find a way, because this money is for a limited time, just for 1 year. So my fear is that what I don't want to do is lose money if there really is the potential to use it. For instance, if part of this is we offer to teachers that they can work extra hours, but then there's a demand from the teachers that want to do it, but we deny them, and at the end of the year, we find out we didn't spend $6 million, so we're going to lose that money. I want to make sure that doesn't happen.
Yes, everybody's been working on the plan, leveraging the dollars. We've done a good job with spending the first CARES and ESSER 1 dollars. So they are watching it, Janet and Terry both, and we're staying on top of all of that.
And then the two more questions. The one about the technology part of it, the $500,000, how are we going to use that?
That one is mainly for our students that still need to connect or have issues with either devices or the Khajiits, the students that need that type of support.
And so we're going to buy more. I would like to see because this is important, I would like to see how this restricted money is going to be spent for sure. And then I guess in the end, it says we have to approve a plan at the next school board meeting because we just so happen to have a board meeting on the 1st. So I'm assuming you all have a plan you're going to present to us. And does the board need to have a special meeting to discuss this and take input from the stakeholders?
Mr. Tillman, the approval of this is at later in the agenda so that it's in place. Our next board meeting is June 8th. And that's when we'll share the ESSER funds with you as well, because we have 3 years to spend those. So we'll show what we're including for the upcoming year. And it can be modified.
So you're saying we're going to approve, we're approving the plan tonight for this?
Yeah, this 42 million, yes.
And this is the plan you're telling me?
Yes.
Okay. And has anyone else seen the plan?
Mr. Komnick?
Yes, hi, Mr. Tillman. Yes, we had this as part of our last LCAP community meeting where we had input from our thought exchange for our expanded learning opportunities grant as well as our LCAP priority areas. So we did receive feedback from our stakeholders. We also took this to the Superintendent Student Advisory Group, and we received feedback and input from our students as well, including staff, teachers, classified administrators, and so forth for this plan. This plan is posted on the district website in draft form. You'll find it in Spanish and in English on the LCAP webpage of our school district.
Last, I would just ask that we have at least one special board meeting for just the budget, Madam President, between now and July, because there's so much money. I think we have to have a special meeting where we discuss, or maybe two, where we give input, hear from the district about how much money there really is. Then we should be able to prioritize the items that we have the flexibility to spend on. But we should do that while getting input from the community. This is a unique time where we have a lot of money, and so we should be able to make a lot of people happy, but at the same time, making sure that we are getting the biggest bang for the buck and impacting as many students as possible. But we should be able to do a lot of things that we wanted to do in the past. So all those groups have been working with us for a long time, like all the different parent groups and employee groups. I think we need to have at least 2 budget meetings to get input on how we're going to spend this additional money. And it should be shown. This is one-time money versus ongoing money. And even with the ongoing money, how much of that we're going to set aside for, we have to be sophisticated, of course, But for pay raises and how much you're going to set aside for additional staff, I know there's been some talk about hiring additional nurses and stuff like that. But this is the time to have those conversations, because once the money is spent, you can't go back and do it. And so we've always talked about mental health, spending more money there. But now is the time to have those meetings and get the input and to give direction before we finalize a budget. If we don't do that, then a lot of this stuff is going to slip through the crack, and we'll end up with money being unspent or spent in a way that we don't agree. Thank you.
Right, Mr. Tillman, I just wanted to add also that this is the part, AB 86, that needs to be approved by the board by June 1st. But we absolutely have a more extensive plan in the ASAP plan, the Accelerated Student Achievement Plan, where we're going to be spending ESSER II and ESSER III dollars. That doesn't necessarily need to be approved, but of course, we do want to have the board really look at that in depth. That plan was an interdivisional plan where we have very detailed information about how we're spending some of those ESSER II and III dollars. This is just a very preliminary small slice, AB 86, that needs to be approved by June 1st, but we have a much more comprehensive ASAP plan that we will be bringing to you. We had to make some changes, but we will be bringing that to you.
But my point is, even with the plan, I think we need to do it outside of the regular board meetings. We need to have a board meeting specifically talk about budget. There's too much going on right now with budgets for us to miss this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tillman. And Ms. Rosales Medina?
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify. So we're not having a school board meeting June the 1st? Or we are? That's the first Tuesday.
Ms. Rosales Medina, when you adopted your budget calendar last year for this year, the current year we're in, typically because things happen toward the end of the month, we adjusted, and I think you did this as well last year. You adjusted the board meetings from the 1st and 3rd to the 2nd and 4th, so we would have more time to get information from the legislation, because remember, their deadline is June 15th. So we're basically, I don't say shooting in the dark, but we're using the best information, but it's not confirmed information. This gives us an opportunity to be a little later in the month to be able to give you more accurate information along the way.
Okay, thank you. And then with, so I do agree with Mr. Tillman in having a special board meeting on this, because even with this amount, like for instance, line item 7, I honestly feel that with the COVID-19 has really hit our families, our students emotionally. And so we really need to look at how we need to increase the budget for this. I know it's $2 million, it's still a lot, but it's not sufficient to how we're looking at each of the school sites and making sure that we're providing additional support in that area. But if we're approving tonight, I mean, we're not approving tonight, we're approving, it'll be approved on the 1st. Is that, just wanted to clarify, it's going to be approved on the 1st or on the 8th?
No, Miss Medina, it's on the agenda for tonight's approval in an action item.
And Miss Medina, just to clarify, all the stuff I presented earlier is even more money that's coming in that is not included in this, that the governor has said there's even more money. This piece has to be approved by June 1st. And because they're doing summer school, they need to get it approved, and it's required by law.
Okay, it was approved by June 1st. That caught me off a little bit. Okay, so, but I do agree. Otherwise, I would like to see more of the funds in that line item 7.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Medina. Dr. Flores?
I had also wanted a clarification on our next board meeting. And you clarified it's June 8th, right, officially? Dr. Volkemer?
Sorry, I was unmuting. Yes, that's correct, June 8th. Our two board meetings in June are the 8th and the 22nd.
Okay, and I agree with Mr. Tillman. I think we need to fetter out, I know we have to give you time to figure out, how to distribute the money, and you have to negotiate with our unions and et cetera. So and that this is just a acceptance of the 42, clarify me, this approval of the 42.1 million is our acceptance of the money, correct?
You're on mute, Dr. Menars.
Dr. Flores, so it's the money's already come, it's the allocation of the funds based off of the input that has been received as Mr. Komnick shared.
Yeah, well, I was expecting Ms. Christakos to let me know that. Is that true, Ms. Christakos, since you're the CBO?
Yes, Dr. Flores, so we have to approve this by June 1st. It's required by the legislature and will be used for summer school. And this is the money that has to be spent within a year from August. There's additional funding coming from the information I provided earlier in the PowerPoint, and then the ESSER funds as well.
So we have until next August 2022 to spend this money in these categories?
This 42 million. Some of the ESSER funds have until, pardon me, August of 23.
Okay, so I think we need to see all the budgets laid out, like Mr. Tillman said, so that we can see where they're going. And tonight, if we approve it, it's approved in these categories. Those are your recommendations, Cabinet?
Dr. Flores, these are the categories as laid out by the state under AB 86.
Oh, under the state. Okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
All right.
And, these are just initial funds. It's just a small slice as we're starting to get into expanded learning opportunities. And we will have more detailed information and we will bring that to you. But yes, This is originally just for these activities now.
So it's just to accept 42 million, 42.1. Okay, thank you.
Ms. Ceballos?
Yeah, so I also want to kind of agree with, having more of a layout and breakdown of the funds. I am interested in seeing what funds are coming in one time and differentiating those from the regular incoming. And so I was looking over this and I was going to wait for board comments, but I guess I'll make some of my comments here now. I did look at the ASAP plan that you have on today's agenda later, and it's quite lengthy. There's a lot of information on there, and I didn't get a chance, quite frankly, to go and read through all of it. So I have questions about the monitoring of that plan. So I would personally like to know what the outcomes are going to be and how they're going to be measured. So what are our goals, right, at the end of the summer? Because I know that this money is going to be used for this summer. It's going to be used for next school year. And it's also going to be used potentially next summer as well, where we might be providing some summer school next year as well. Is that correct? Okay. So I would be interested in learning or finding out, how does a district plan on reporting to the board on student outcomes, because it is my understanding that the money was specifically granted to mitigate some of the learning loss of last year due to the distance learning. And I have more comments about that. I was kind of a little disappointed on some of the summer school programs that I found out about, and I'll address that a little bit more in the board comments. But if somebody can address that for me.
Yes, we will bring more detailed information. I think it's a good idea what Mr. Tillman had suggested about some type of a workshop or a more extended time to really look at what we're doing, because you are correct. You do have a copy of the plan, and I think it would be very worthwhile to take a deeper look and explain some of the metrics and what we're going to be looking at to measure success and measure growth. So we can definitely schedule that and bring that to you.
So just to clarify, do we have that incorporated in the plan for summer specifically on the metrics?
No, not for summer. It's 3 weeks, and it's supposed to be an expanded learning opportunity for students. We do have teacher training where our teams have discussed with teachers what they could use. We didn't build it in specifically detailed in the ASAP, but in the teacher training component, teachers are given curriculum, and they have different measures that they can use for summer school.
And see, that's where I have my concerns again, because again, I was under the impression that this money is to be focused on student learning loss over the year. And so now my question even is, are we doing assessments at the end, to know where we're going to place students over the summer program?
They are included in the curriculum that the teachers are being trained on, because they do have specific curriculum that they are training teachers on. And so those will have some metrics that they can use pre and post for summer school. And then as far as the fall, the new year, we do have assessments that we are investing in to make sure early on that we are assessing all students to see where there may be some opportunities for growth.
Is there a specific reason why that didn't happen for the summer program? The the assessments pre and monitoring. Is there a specific reason why that portion wasn't not incorporated over the summer?
They do have pre and post assessments. It's just not the same one that we're using in the fall, because we're talking about 3 weeks. And so that is really curriculum based pre and post assessment. So they will have that for summer. And then in the fall, they have a more extensive assessment that they'll be giving at the beginning of the year.
Okay. Okay. That was it. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. I believe that was the last question on this slide presentation. And who's finishing it up here?
Dr. Rogers, thank you so much. And I just wanted to, thank the team as well. Shannon and I spent a lot of time reading all the documentation, and Terry and working with the funding for the ASAP plan. And so I just want to thank both of them for their work on this. And that's it. Thank you.
President Rogers, if I may, if the board is interested in having additional special board meetings, if we could know when those are, just so we can plan our work out in terms of we need to have this done by June 1st or by June 15th or whenever those would be, that would be helpful, just for our planning purposes to know what we need to deliver to you by what date.
And I know we're going to need to look at the calendar, because I know graduations are taking place, and I know some of us are going to some, but we got to look at the calendar, and I can't make that decision right now. I don't think we can, but we can
maybe next week,
tomorrow, and see what, your time frame is, that you guys can gather what you need and try to, make a realistic date.
Great. We'll work.
I'm sorry, Ms. Rosales Medina, I didn't.
Yeah, I just mentioned next week. The thing is that if we, I would suggest that the board as a whole kind of come up with a date instead of having to wait for the decision to be made. So I would suggest next week, definitely, because the 1st is coming up soon.
So we know, but I'm saying, how long is it going to take them to gather what they need to gather? So that would be more of a realistic question tomorrow, and then we can get together versus setting a date, and we can send it out, because it's going to take some time, but I don't, it's going to take some time. So we have to realistically know if they can be ready to give us what we need.
We have until June the 1st, before June the 1st. So just keep that in mind as well.
Actually, we don't have a meeting on June 1st, so Abigail. So we could actually do
before. No, I meant before. We have up to the June 4th, meaning that's when it's approved, or that's when it. Right. Never mind.
No, the meeting I'm talking about, Madam President, the graduations start on the 3rd. Is that right?
I don't know. That's why I said I don't know. We'd have to start looking at stuff. So I can talk to Dr. Volkmer tomorrow, as soon as tomorrow, and then we can get that out a couple of dates, because we have a short window here. So it's either, I know they won't have it on Monday. Go ahead.
I was only thinking because they have some dates on the 8th where we have to take action on approval of a bunch of stuff pertaining to the budget, LCAP and some other stuff. If the graduations don't start until the 3rd, then we really could meet on the 1st, because there's no meeting scheduled for the 1st.
Isn't that the date they needed done by? I mean, I don't know if there's
So remember, this part's being approved tonight.
Right.
The
Right.
deadline part. So
Okay.
there's no deadline for what we heard tonight.
So it sounds like we're still looking at next week, right?
Well, I was thinking June the
Or
1st,
it's
the week
early
after.
as June the 1st.
Madam President, I think we need to ask staff how long it will take them
That's
to,
why I was saying that. That's why in one day, I think Dr.
Right.
Vogt will have time to meet with the team. They have their morning meeting.
right, they need time to figure out all our ask. Yeah, and then we can go from there. I agree with you. Yeah.
Okay, so Dr. Volkemar, I mean, I know you have your cabinet meeting in the morning after action of the board meeting, and then we can get together.
Sounds good.
Figure that out. Okay, let's see. We are now moving to 11.1, board member comments. Let me get back to see the chat. Are there any comments, board members? I see Mr. Tillman. Wait. Okay, Mr. Tillman?
Yes. Two things. One on the summer, I know we're doing summer school, right? And are some of the summer schools going to have caps before school or after school? Are they? Anybody? Can you hear me?
I'll answer the question. I was trying to unmute myself. CAPS will be running concurrent with school. So we're not going to have a before and after school program. When we did the budgets at the beginning of the school year, we did not have those programs listed for the summer. And so when this opportunity came around to actually have it for all schools, it was not put into the budget at the beginning when this was put together. So we don't have CAPS before and after school running like we normally would in a regular school situation.
And I guess my reason for asking the question, and it gets back to having all this money and not taking advantage of it. Is there a need for CAPS, and can we put it together? I mean, and as Mr. Warman said, hey, you know what? I have the folks ready to go if you got the money to do it, because you know, Mr. Warman still talks from perspective. He don't have any money. I've heard this, so no one's told Mr. Warman that there's a whole bunch of money. He really is telling people we don't have money to do things. So the only fear I have is we're missing up opportunities because we're not communicating with the key people to let them know we can do some big things right now that'll make a big difference. And I only mention CAPS because as parents bring their kids to school and they're going back to work, it would help if they had the opportunity to pick some schools to go to that maybe had before school and after school CAPS. That's the one thing. The other thing is the transportation. You guys are telling me that they're going to be transportation. From what I've seen, that they're not. The parents can't on their own call transportation, and the schools aren't reaching out to the folks to tell them they want transportation. And you said it's transportation, but the parents had no way to say when they wanted to go to summer school that they wanted transportation. If that makes sense. And it's just as confusing as I said it. So to suggest that you're offering transportation, but the parents have no way of saying, I want transportation, how are the parents going to get transportation? So to me, it's another thing where if we don't find a way to make it obvious, you want to go to summer school, and then you're requesting transportation, and then the transportation department is going to contact you about the transportation. I don't even know what to tell parents. I don't know whether you guys are going with the regular distance rules or whether if you're inter-district transfer, but that more clarification has to happen for that. The other part, after summer school is over, in the past, during normal times, when they had the Boys and Girls Club, now it's the Center for Youth and Community Development, they're going to do a summer program. And in that summer program, they have educational enrichment, but also a place where the kids are at all day. And a lot of our students' parents at work have used them. And if they're a district employee, we've been able to fund some of that. So I'm hoping that we'll be able to do those type of things again. So I'm hoping you guys are reaching out to either the Center for Youth and Community Development and telling them again that we do have funding, and so that you can spread the word to parents that you're offering this summer program after summer school's out, and that the district will team up to pay for our district employees. Because it's another way where this money that we have can be spent. But it goes back to the same thing. I don't think anyone's told Mr. Warman that that money's available so he can talk to his partners about providing these services for people. To me, the district is getting this new money to impact the trauma and the problems that we've gone through because of the pandemic. So because we have the money, we're supposed to open it up to get back to a more sense of normal and help as many people as possible. But the communication has to happen. So I do want to concentrate on this summer though. So I hope that someone's taking this down and that you'll get back to us about those two items. The one being after summer school's over, are we going to partner with some of these summer programs that will allow the parents to have their kids there and we help pay for it? Because it also could be, and we can work with them to ensure that the students that are there are getting some of the education that they've shored up that they lost during the pandemic. I think it's a perfect fit for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tillman. Ms. Rosales Medina?
Yeah, similar to what Mr. Tillman was mentioning, but in my case, it's more towards the high school seniors for graduation, the caps and gown. I already got information from the district, but so currently the issue is that there's many families who are struggling and have been struggling, especially now with the COVID-19. We're coming back into more of a normalcy, but still doesn't address that many families are still struggling financially. So a great example is like, for instance, you buy the cap and gown through Johnston, and they don't give you the cap and gown. You have to order a package. The minimum package is $88, which includes a bag and a ring. And so when you add the fees and everything else, it comes out to $108. For a struggling family, that's a lot. I know many families that are doing well, and for them that's it's a good sacrifice of income. But for many families, they just can't afford it. So I know that what they're saying is that our families or low-income families or people that are struggling, students that are struggling, can still qualify to get it, maybe a loaner. But I would like to look at this in the next school year to really look at how we can provide free cap and gowns for all high school seniors. If you think about it, many of our high school seniors, they're helping us increase the graduation rate within the school district. So at the same time, we're helping them, and they're contributing to the fact that, you know, we're increasing our high school graduation. I just don't feel like, I know they may send out a robocall to now inform low-income families or people that are struggling to purchase or to get it through the district, but many may not be aware of it, and many people don't want to necessarily ask if they're able to get it covered. So I just want to make sure that we are allocating funds, and I would like to propose for next school year to make sure that we are looking at how much would this cost to make sure that all students are receiving a cap and gown through the school district. We can buy wholesale. It could just be the bare minimum, a cap and gown. If they want to purchase other stuff, they can do so. But I really believe that we can get this at a low cost.
Okay. All right. And Dr. Wyatt?
Yes, thank you, Madam President. Dr. Rogers. Wow, I have to concur with my colleague, Ms. Abigail Medina, Rosales Medina, on those caps and gowns. I was pretty shocked how expensive they were myself. And so, I mean, wow, it's amazing that our kids should have to even pay something like that for graduating. I know we have the loaners, which is great, but the price has definitely skyrocketed, and definitely during such a tough time this year. So thank you, Abigail, for bringing that up. Just want to say there's a lot of great shout outs right now. Congratulations going on, especially at this time of the year. But a lot of these are for our staff. As we just saw that our own San Marino City Unified School District Police Department Sergeant Gutierrez for being selected as Teacher of the Year. And I imagine, I don't want to steal too much of Dr. Volkemer's thunder, because I imagine he has a long list of amazing congratulations that are happening right now. And I just found out about a student today, and I didn't get all the details, so I'm hoping somebody could build on this as well. Dr. Volkemer, you got that one? Arroyo Valley? All right, I'll let that one go then, because you got it, and I want you to tell the story on that one. So that's going to be a pretty awesome announcement. I want to say a special thank you to teacher Ryan Hart. She was here earlier today. I think probably a number of us participated in interviews with his students, who I thought was just an amazing experience for me. I was just so proud of our students and Mr. Harsh and his team for one, helping our students graduate and get their diplomas, but two, now being enrolled at Valley College and preparing for interviews with companies like Amazon and Walgreens, which I thought was pretty awesome. So great job to our work program and Mr. Hirsch and the rest of them out there. I was just thoroughly impressed and had a wonderful time. I want to thank the Rotary Club of downtown San Bernardino, along with Ed and Tanya Hensley. They recognized actually 4 of our amazing San Bernardino City Unified School District teachers as they were nominated by their students, which I think is one of the best compliments we could ever receive, for the Duncan Webb Character Education Award. And I thought, wow, what a great year to be recognized for, having character during an epidemic like this. And so Mr. and Mrs. Tetlock from Richardson Prep High Middle School were selected as the number 1 and 2 folks together. A great team. We had Ty Stockham from San Gorgonio and Kim Embriani from San Bernardino High School. So just an amazing job to them as well. And I think that'll be it for me right now. Just a lot going on. And thank you for all the presentations today from our executive cabinet. A lot of information. Looking forward to our extended learning opportunities. I did have a question though for our cabinet, and was just wondering, and if you did say this, I apologize if I didn't hear today, how many students that we've had sign up for summer school / extended school year? Because I know the number was pretty high last time I had heard. And I think that was probably about a week and a half ago. And so I'm just wondering where we're at now, because I think that's interesting information for us to hear and utilize moving forward. So that is it for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Wyatt. And Ms. Ceballos?
Thank you, Dr. Rogers. So just very quickly, again, over summer school, this is once again a huge concern for me. I want to make sure that that the whole purpose of summer school is met. So San Bernardino is offering summer school to mitigate learning loss. That is the purpose of this grant. And I want to make sure that I'm afraid that if we do not have protocols in place on how we will monitor the growth of the students over the summer, then I don't know, and I can't be confident that we've achieved that goal. And so please, I would like somebody to reach back out to me at some point and go over with me. Maybe it is there and maybe I just completely missed it, but I want to make sure that we assessed students to see how they ended the year and that we are placing them in specific academic courses that will assist them and that we can see whether or not they grew within the summer school program that we're going to be offering. So that is something that I'm going to be asking for at the end of the summer. I want to be able to see whether or not we had growth in our K through 12 students. Furthermore, I had a huge concern on those same lines about incoming 9th grade students. So my son's an incoming 9th grader, and I became aware that we only have a bridge program. And I spoke to Ms. Applegate. She clarified some information for me. There is going to be some academic components to the summer bridge program for those 9th graders, but it's from what I understood, it's more around acquainting the students to the campus. And again, I want to make sure that those finishing 8th graders, that we're able to see what support they need, right? So that we're able to provide that over the summer as much as we can, and we can see some growth, because that's the whole purpose of the summer school program. And then finally, for the 10 through 12 high school students, we're only having
credit recovery is what I understood. And I think it's only online, and please correct me if that's wrong. I also have a concern with that. We're just coming back from online instruction. And if they're going back to the school to do more online, how are we going to make sure that they don't fail once again, right? If they're coming back because they have to recover some credits, it's because something didn't work out for them online, I'm assuming. So again, that's a concern of mine. And again, it's going to go back to the growth. Another area of big concern for me is how are we targeting students specifically to reach them and bring them into summer school? Were we being strategic about that? Were we monitoring who was where, and specifically contacting those parents and saying, hey, your student would really benefit from the summer program? Or did we just put the announcement out there saying we're going to have a summer program? So I would like somebody to please reach out to me with how we're going about getting those students to come into summer school. And then lastly, I attended the town hall meetings, and one thing that I learned there that was also a little bit concerning to me was that during next year, those students that have been accepted to raffle schools, if they choose to do virtual learning, that they're going to be losing their spot. I personally don't think that's really fair. So I would like for the team to, maybe, I don't know, maybe we can figure out a different way. Maybe we can give them a trial period of a month or something. I don't know if that would cause too much disruption. Is it going to look the same way that it did this past year? Virtual learning, is it going to be the same style? Maybe that's another thing that we can address, because if it is going to be the same thing, and parents then can decide, well, you know what, my child didn't do so well in that type of distance learning. If it's going to be the same thing, maybe I shouldn't enroll them. And then maybe their decision could be, better made at that point. So maybe clarifying some of those things. I really would like to work with the district on that specific area. So once again, thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Ms. Ceballos. And Dr. Hill.
Thank you, Dr. Rogers. I want to first say and give a real shout out to the Superintendent Students Advisory. They did a really good job, and I'm so glad that we have finally gotten to the point where we've said to students, this is for you. And if we're going to do things for students, they need to be a part of. And so for the advisors, I don't know how the students were selected, but you certainly selected a good group of students. So I want to say thanks to the advisors as well as the Superintendent's Student Advisory for the great job they did tonight. If you haven't had a chance to do so, please drive down Medical Center Drive near Baseline and take a look at Dr. Martin Luther King School. It is the state-of-the-art front. I'm sure the back looks just as well, but in driving, you can see the front. And for those who haven't seen it in quite a while, you probably said, where did this building come from? But I want to say to those involved, Mr. Pace and others, you did an awesome job, and it's absolutely beautiful. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you for all the good work that you're doing in the district. I want to also take time to thank our classified employees. You are so needed. You are so important. And as we celebrate Classified Employees Week, I just want to say you are very important to all of us, and we appreciate the work you do. And keep on doing a good job, and keep on making us proud, because we are proud of the work you're doing. And other than that, I want to say to Cabinet, appreciate your resiliency in working with us, accommodating us as best you can. And I know your plate's full, and there's nothing on there to rake off. You just take that fork and move a little bit to the side to put a little bit more on. but you're up to the challenge, and just want you, under the leadership of Dr. Bokemer, to continue what you're doing. And to our parents, our teachers, our administrators, just want to say to you, hang in there, better days are coming. So with that, I want to say what an honor it is to be a part of this district and the good work that we've done in the past. But I hear some people say, I can't wait to get back to the normal. And I'm saying, why do you want to go back there when there's so much good in where we're going, which is not the old normal? So as we take a look at broadband, making sure our students are ready for either distance learning or on-site learning, I just want to just give applause to all of you for the great job you're doing and keeping our students in mind. Yes, we will make hope happen. Not only 21, 22, but in the future. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Hill. Dr. Flores?
Yes, I too want to salute all our classified employees, and especially the essential workers that work throughout the whole pandemic. There were a group of people that, in spite of all the dangers, sustained us throughout the time when others were at home. So I want to especially acknowledge them. I also want to acknowledge the Student Advisory Group. This board has always believed in student voice, and it's important. I was a high school teacher, and student voice is so important, and just the breadth and depth of solutions that the students brought tonight are just amazing. And I'll reiterate it again. We need to invest $50,000 with each one of them. And if they increase all of the things that they want to do, we may have to support them even more, but I think they deserve it. Also, I want to commend all of our teachers and our classified workers that are retiring. It is something to, how would you say, to be proud of, for the legacy of being a teacher and a worker in a school district is above and beyond. You are the second parents to our kids, and you deserve to, you've chosen to retire, but let me tell you, you probably won't retire like officially, but you'll probably be doing other things like taking care of grandchildren and et cetera. But just want to commend all of you. I want to commend and congratulate all the graduating seniors. I'm so happy that we get to, celebrate with you graduation. And I wish it could have been more, but I think that just being able to graduate and be together is wonderful. And I'd like to also congratulate your teachers, your counselors, your administrators, and your families. It's a big deal. It's a big deal to graduate from high school and then, go on and, the next journey of your life. I want to ask Dr. Bokemer, so I brought this up to you. So are all our buildings rodent and rat free?
My understanding and I checked on that just as soon as we got off the phone, that we are, particularly at 2nd Street where we got some complaints, we have been working with the owners of that building to make sure that we are pest free. As people are re-entering our buildings, occasionally when buildings have been vacant, you get critters that homestead. So we've been addressing that very quickly. And I believe we can say confidently that our buildings are safe in that regard.
Safe. Even black widows?
Unless you got a report about a black widow today, we were happy to follow up on that, but I believe
I just checking, because we talk about the pandemic and all of that, which is great, but these critters, infest us, so in our buildings. So, okay, good. If I get any more complaints, I'll surely, tell you. I also want to commend our cabinet and Dr. Volkmer for the town hall and for the virtual academy that you conducted. I participated only in the town hall because I had a family obligation in the other, but I was very, I really thought it was very thoughtful, and parents expressed their concerns and staff addressed them, and also, provided, gave them a sense that they were going to deal with it. And I hope you have. I'm sure you have. And as Ms. Ceballos also said, I was concerned too that I didn't think it was fair that kids that were, at Richardson or Rodriguez Prep or schools where they have won the lottery, that they will lose their place. I hope that we can find a win-win situation. I don't know how many of them are, I mean, it depends on how many, but I think that we should have a win-win decision where everybody benefits. And then one last comment. I know we're opening up, but I'm very proud of us that we're also going to have a virtual academy, especially for parents who still do not feel safe for their students to go full-time in person. And I just want to remind us, we should not have a false sense of security. We have to continue to keep vigilant. I'm hopeful that the vaccinations, that our students will get vaccinated, the 12 through 16-year-olds, but also hopeful that our younger ones will also be vaccinated as well. So I just want us to remember that we still as a board believe in safety and health first. So I just want us not to get a false sense of security. So thank you, Madam President.
Thank you all for your comments. And I just will say, just to the entire district staff, and I'm not going to steal your thunder, Dr. Volkmer, because I was where you were and you were where I was at, or however we want to say that. And there's some amazing things that has happened. And I think the great thing about that is, despite what we're seeing, the end goal of outside of the difficult things that was lying ahead of us or was ahead of us, the students, our staff, I mean, just to still be able to achieve these recognitions and things that are going on was amazing. I'm from a town hall call to an awards celebration, and it's what make our district wonderful and great. And so it takes everybody working together with that common goal to ensure that our students are successful. And so I just want to mention one recognition that was not overlooked, but a lot of times people do not know that this is National Foster Care Month. So we do want to acknowledge those that are doing their job as foster care parents as well. Very important job, very important, near and dear to my heart. So Dr. Volkmer, turning it over to you.
Great. Thank you, Madam President. And I'll start where you left off. You and I were on the Zoom circuit today for school recognition. We started at 3 with a recognition by the California Department of Education for the Green Schools Award Program. I think I sent you something in the daily report that these are schools that are really making strides in terms of conserving resources while promoting health and environmental literacy. And Norton Elementary School was recognized at the silver level. So that's quite an accomplishment. Not very many schools get that statewide. And so we want to give a shout out to Principal Elizabeth Cochran-Benoit and her staff and the amazing aviators at Norton Elementary School for receiving silver level recognition for the Green Schools program. And then right after that, literally on the heels of that, we jumped over to the county schools office, hosted a recognition of all of our California distinguished schools from the county, schools to watch, et cetera. And we got to celebrate that Richardson Prep High and Middle College High School have both been recognized as a California distinguished school multiple times for Middle College, 9 times for Richardson Prep High. This is the 9th time that Richardson Prep has been designated as a California Distinguished School. So we want to give a shout out to Principal James Espinoza, Principal Jenny Batir, their staffs, and the wonderful Wolverines and Tigers of Middle College High School and Richardson Prep High. So those are always very exciting. Yeah, let's give that a round of applause. Recently, the American School Counselor Association announced that Sierra High School has received what they call the RAMP designation. RAMP stands for Recognized ASCA Model Program. This year, only 130 schools in 27 states across the nation were given this national recognition, and Sierra was one of them. So we want to give a special shout out to Principal Hector Murrieta and his counseling staff at Sierra Continuation High School for their RAMP designation. And then we just got this in, I mean, literally hours before the board meeting started. Pacific High School's Digital Design and Communications Academy, one of their career pathways, was given gold certification by the Linked Learning Alliance. That's a huge accomplishment. It takes a lot of work. It's not one of those things where if you hang around long enough, you just move from silver to bronze to silver to gold. And that makes a complete sweep for Pacific High School. All of their career pathways are now Linked Learning certified at the gold level, at the very highest level. So very proud of Principal Natalie Raimundo, her staff, and the wonderful Pirates at Pacific High School for getting those programs together. Great stuff on our schools. So this also came in very, very late today, and Dr. Wyatt alluded to it. We want to congratulate Arroyo Valley High School senior Andrea Carrillo, who is participating, actually has participated in the CNN virtual graduation ceremony for graduating high school seniors to be aired on or about, they didn't give us an exact date, just a time frame, on or about May 23rd, 2021. She is representing San Bernardino County in this national event and is only one of 16 students from all of California performing or participating in this event. And I have her bio, and if Andrea doesn't have anything better to do, I'm going to ask her to be my personal time management assistant. It's unbelievable what this amazing young woman has accomplished. She is the valedictorian for the class of 2021 for Arroyo Valley High School. She participates in varsity golf, swimming, and water polo, where she's the golf team captain. She participates in numerous clubs, including AP Spanish Club, Calculus Club, Students for Change Club, president. She's the president of the Clay Club, International Baccalaureate Club. She participated in RILA, which is a Rotary Youth Leadership Program this year, Inland Empire Future Leaders, Young Legislators, Art Helps Hearts, Girls Talk Math, and very close to my heart, she is going to the University of Redlands to be a Bulldog. So I can't wait to see the great things she's going to do at the University of Redlands. But plan to tune in on May 23rd and see her on CNN for our national virtual graduation ceremony. Very excited that she is representing San Bernardino City Schools so well. In terms of staff recognition, pleased to share that Adrian Robles, our Director of Nutrition Services, recently received the School Meals Hero Award from No Kid Hungry California for her commitment to student nutrition during the pandemic. And I don't know if you can see this or not, but this is the award. We'll make sure she gets it. It's actually a chef's hat with a knife and spoon and fork. We'll make sure she gets that. We want to give a huge shout out. We've talked about how important it has been to continue to give meals to our community during this very trying time, and she's obviously spearheaded that work. Again, another shout out to Sergeant John Gutierrez from our very own district police department, who was selected as Officer of the Year. Very excited about that. And then Dr. Wyatt also mentioned the Duncan Webb Award for Character Education. That award has been around for almost 30 years. And it is specifically for character education. It's given to only teachers from the San Bernardino City Unified School District. This year they did do student nominations, and Kim Embriani, as he mentioned, from San Bernardino High School, who runs the bakery and ASB at Cardinal City, Ty Stockham, who is an alumni of San Gorgonio High School, and I shared at the virtual award ceremony. I used to watch Ty when he played basketball at San G for his dad, Doug. and he was a great floor general with a very, very talented team. He's a math teacher at San Gregorio High School. And then Pam and C.R. Tetlock, as a team from Richardson, they actually won the Duncan Webb Character Education Award. I want to congratulate all these outstanding educators from our school district for doing a good job of teaching character education. And then I'll end with, before I give one last announcement, I just want to give a huge shout out to all of our members of our classified service in the school district. They do a phenomenal job day in and day out, doing so many different types of support functions. And I'll share one very quick story. I know it's getting late, but when I was a principal of Bonnie Old School, we had a custodian named Charlie. And every once in a while, my wife would bring our 4-year-old Ryan, our oldest, over to Bonnie Old to visit me. And he would literally walk right by my office and start roaming the hallways saying, "Charlie, Charlie." He couldn't wait to see Charlie. Charlie just had a great way with kids. He was a very, very popular person who had terrific relationships and made a huge difference, not just in keeping our school clean, but in doing the little things to help our students stay positive and do great things. So that's just one example of thousands literally that we could give about the great work that our classified employees do, team members do. And so we've got a little something planned. We've been doing it all week. We've got a little bit of something every day this week. And we just want to say thank you very much to our classified service. And then finally, we can give that a big shout out, big, huge round of applause. And then our next regularly scheduled LCAP community input meeting, which is our last one of this current school year, will be Tuesday, May 25th from 5:30 to 7. We're putting a full court press to get as many people there as we can. This will be the last input session before we bring you, board, the initial plan for public hearing and then approval hopefully on June 22nd. And board, if you'd like to be a part of that meeting, please let Karen know and we'll get you linked into that as well. So lots of great things happening in the district. Thank you very much, board, for giving me a few minutes to share.
Thank you, Dr. Volkemer. All right, we are now moving to 12.0, consent items. Board.
So moved. I'm sorry, Board President. Can I pull some items?
Okay, so
I'll second.
let's get it. Okay, yeah, let's get a second first. Okay, and now what would you like to pull?
So 12.22, 12.26, and 12.30.
26 and 12.30. Okay.
And I'll have to pull 12.6 and want to abstain. I want to recuse myself.
Or recuse, okay. 12.6. Any others?
When we get, Dr. Rogers, when we get to 12.30, I just need clarification.
Okay, yeah, likewise. Okay, if that is it, we will vote on the agenda. Okay, Dr. Flores?
Aye.
Ms. Ceballos?
Aye.
Dr. Hill?
Aye.
Dr. Wyatt?
Aye.
Ms. Rosales Medina?
Aye.
Mr. Tillman?
Aye.
And Dr. Dowdy Rogers, aye. Motion carried. All right, so Mr. Tillman, I'll go ahead and do 12.6. And then, did you say you're going to recuse or you're coming off?
Turn off my mic and mute, and I'm not going to comment or vote on it.
Okay.
My wife's president of Links.
Okay, got you. Okay, okay, I was going to say go away. All right, 12.6.
Can you read it, Madam President?
12.6, yes, I can. It is. It's a sponsorship with San Bernardino Valley Chapter of Links Incorporated for $2,500.
So moved.
Second.
All right, if there's no further discussion on that, Dr. Flores?
Aye.
Ms. Ceballos?
Aye.
Dr. Hill?
Aye.
Dr. Wyatt?
Aye.
Ms. Rosales Medina?
Aye.
Dr. Dowdy, aye. Motion carried. All right. If I'm just gonna text him so I know.
I'm here.
You're there? Okay.
I'm here.
All righty. All right. Let's start with 12.22.
Yeah, so I just had a few questions on what is it that we are getting what services are we getting as a result of the increase?
Mr. Bio, this is a non-public school, so this would be additional students that would be going there or that we're anticipating that may go there. So it's it's attendance at the school for a particular student that may need it.
Okay, got it. And so do we have, so is this current students that are going to be transferred there now, or just predictions for?
It tends to be a combination of both, so that we're ahead of the game, if you will, so that we don't have to do ratifications if a student comes new to our district, if we're starting to reach the contract limit, or if there's an IEP and the team is realizing, they're starting to hear that we may need a student to go. So they're always trying to get better at being ahead of things, so we don't have to ratify contracts.
Then is this once a year? Does this happen once a year? Does this come before the board once a year?
Our contracts for our non-public schools, yes. We generally do a yearly, because then their services may increase, or we do master contracts. And so you can see that this one came in October, the original contract, and then we can see that we're going to need to increase it. But this will take us through, the end of this school year to 2021.
So then at some point, we're going to see again for the next school year.
Correct.
Okay, I see. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
All right, there's a first and a second. If there's no further discussion, Dr. Flores?
Aye.
Ms. Ceballos?
Aye.
Dr. Hill?
Aye.
Dr. Wyatt?
Aye.
Ms. Rosales Medina?
Aye.
Mr. Tillman?
Aye.
Dr. Dowdy Rogers, aye. Motion carried. All right, 12.26.
Again, just had a few questions on this, Madam President. I just wanted to know, is this cost usually typical for this type of training?
Who's responding to that one?
Applegate.
I can't see the item. I'm sorry. What is it that she's
It is
questioning?
12.26, the agreement with the National Center on Education and the Economy for $262,000.5.
And the only reason why I ask is because it does say here 10,500 per participant. So
I'm sorry, go ahead.
So I was just wondering, what is this and what does it entail? And is this typical?
Let me look at that and get back to you. I didn't.
Applegate. It's NISL.
I'm sorry. Okay, then that's a leadership program, and it is for our district leaders. It's the National Institute for School Leadership, and it's a week-long training with ongoing support for our school site leaders.
And if I can chime in here, thank you, Ms. Applegate. Miles, I'll chime in. It's a year-long. It's annual as well. And we train our site leaders on how to be strong instructional leaders through NISL. And it's a nationally recognized program as well.
Got it. That was going to be my next question. Was it 1 day, 2 day, but you're saying it's a week long, and then they also continue to receive support for the year?
Correct.
I believe it's, Ms. Ceballos, I may be off by a little bit, but it's 24 days of training. They do 12 2-day, if I remember correctly, they do 12 2-day modules.
Okay, perfect. And is this high management, like who exactly, like principals or?
Principals and our vice principals, our site leaders, yes, correct.
Perfect. Okay, thank you. That was it.
So
Okay.
moved.
Second.
All right, thank you. It's been moved in second. No further discussion. Dr. Flores?
Aye.
Ms. Ceballos?
Aye.
Dr. Hill?
Aye.
Dr. Wyatt?
Aye.
Ms. Rosales Medina?
Aye.
Mr. Tillman?
Aye.
And Dr. Dowdy Rogers, aye. Motion carried. Thank you. We are now looking at 12.30.
Okay, and for this item, I was just looking over, and it says that this is an addendum to to a prior agreement. I've never seen the prior agreement. I would like to, again, this is almost $600,000, and I would like to see what that prior agreement looks like. So that wasn't included as part of the agenda.
Is someone going to respond?
We can get, is that the Footsteps to Brilliance one?
Yes.
I'm sorry, again, my camera, I can't see.
Okay, sorry for that.
I'm just
Yes,
responding verbally.
It is.
Yes, we can absolutely get the prior agreement for you. That was done, I believe, about approximately 3 years ago. So we can get that for you.
Okay, Madam President. So because of that reason, I don't think, I would like to ask that maybe we table this item so that I have time to look over, do my due diligence and, basically look over that agreement.
Okay, thank you for that. And Dr. Hill, you had some input as well?
And I support Ms. Ceballos in tabling this until we get more information. When I first heard of Footsteps to Brilliance, it was through First Five, so some First Five commissioner. But if I recall, and I know it's been a few years ago, but if I recall, when we did that contract, which is the same one that county schools did, it was everything inclusive. And I think a part of the contract states any updates, supplements, anything of that nature is a part of that original contract. So I'm just hoping we could take a look at that contract, because if in there it said for the lifetime of the contract, and I think that's what I'm remembering, that all of the updates or any supplements would be a part of that packet. I don't understand why we're paying a little over $500,000. So I suggest we investigate a little bit more. And again, I support you, Ms. Ceballos, and if we could just table this until we get more information.
Okay. And Mr. Tillman?
Yes, and I had concerns about it. In the initial contract was like $5 million.
Yes.
And I voted against the contract then because most of the content was out there for free. What we're supposed to get extra was some access to some database. But I agree also, as we tell, but who is it, which staff member agendized it, and what are we supposed to be getting extra? Is it supposed to be, I read something about some additional services. Is that what it is?
Yes, it was Ed Services, and it is a new component that they have called Junior University for our 3-year-olds and from 3-year-olds through 2nd grade. And it's a new biliteracy component that they've added to their program.
And is it free books again or reading material?
It's reading material. There's supposed to be some professional development involved, access to their platform. That's this Clever University. It's access to their new platform that they have now.
And then is the district really using the Footsteps of Brilliance extensively?
We are using it, not necessarily consistently because it is voluntary, but it is one of the programs that we use as a resource.
Yeah, I have a real concern about it. I think we should table it and wait and get more information also. Thank you.
Dr. Flores?
I've been bird dogging Footsteps to Brilliance since we got it. And initially, our people didn't, provide the full service of it. And we did get certain things in perpetuity. You're correct, Dr. Hill. And also, I have seen the data. I don't know if you guys read it. We got a data about 3 or 4 weeks ago, or I can't remember. Mrs. Applegate, when did we get that data or the update?
It was probably about 3 weeks ago, 3 to 4 weeks ago.
3 or 4 weeks ago. And it tracks our students, and our parents, I know, love it. Our students are engaged in it. And given that literacy is going to be one of our goals, and biliteracy for all is one of our goals, I support us adding this. And can you tell us if we're getting this in perpetuity as well, Mrs. Applegate?
Yes, that is in the contract. We are supposed to be getting this in perpetuity.
So that means we will have it for, and it's not just for our district, it's for all families in San Bernardino City?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Mrs. Rosales Medina?
Yes, I too, back when it was on the agenda, I voted no on this one because the amount of money that was spent. And they did say, because I remember kind of addressing how they said lifetime, we would have it lifetime, you know, and I was like, how long is a lifetime? Is it until they claim bankruptcy or so? So I remember that conversation that we had then. So I understand this is a different program, but even if we get the contract back, it's still a lot of money. So I don't know how this would be beneficial for the amount of money that we have right now.
Thank you, Ms. Rosales Medina. And so from this point, and just, I think the biggest thing is the clarity that is not there, what we thought was supposed to be there. And we really need to do our due diligence. And so whether it's to pull it or table it, I'm not sure which one do we have to move forward, but we do need more information on this.
Table it, be the easiest.
So let's you know, table this particular, what is it, 12.30 on the footsteps to brilliance, and then we can get some more information and definitely get some clarity, because I do remember that night vaguely for the amount we paid. And as I've mentioned before, we paid more than the county even paid. And here we are again, paying out again. And certainly we do want literacy to increase for all of our students, but you know, we want to be clear in what we're doing, so.
And Madam President, just to make sure, if I can get a copy of that initial agreement, because I have no previous, you know, knowledge on that.
Yeah, we all they can revisit giving it to us all.
And just as a suggestion, anytime that I would like to request that anytime that there is an amendment going to be made to an initial contract, that it be included on there as well on the agenda.
Okay, sounds good. All right, so where are we? Karen, am I okay with just tabling it? I don't need to put it to a vote to table it. Just want to make sure we're good.
I do not believe you have to if you all agree to table.
All right, great. Okay, so we will table 12.3 and we'll move forward with 13.0 action items. 13.1 personnel report. Number 19, dated May 18, 2021.
Board, I'd like to amend the personnel report this evening in regard to the summer school teacher payment from central office, which begins on page 4 with last name Alvarado and ends on page 39, last name Stratton. The language to be amended is this, from not to exceed 5 hours. It should say not to exceed 8 hours, based on the negotiated summer school MOU with SBTA. That's the amendment.
So moved with the amendment.
All right. There's a motion. I need a second.
Second.
All right. And if there's no further discussion.
I have a discussion.
You, okay, go ahead.
I noticed, Dr. Funches, that there are 3 pages of abolishment of classified, and it has to do with our rec aides and our clerks, our bilingual clerks. Can you tell me why?
Sure. So those vacancies, those abolishments that you see there are no holders in those positions. There are vacancies and they've been vacant for a while. So one of the things that we're doing is we're cleaning up our system so that we'll know exactly where we need to hire and what we need to do for the upcoming school year. So those are vacancies that have been on the books for quite some time.
So just to clarify, so if we see that we need rec aides in some other schools, then those positions will come forward?
Yes, if we need rec aides in other school sites, those school sites can establish positions and we definitely fill them.
So when does that happen?
That happens, it could happen over the summer. It could happen at the beginning of the school year based on enrollment. So they can establish positions at any time. Dr. Flores?
And does the Personnel Commission have to approve them? Or once we abolish them, what's the procedure?
So for school sites to established positions. They just need to have that in their particular budgets, fiscal approval, position control, and then HR works with the Personnel Commission to fill them.
Okay, thank you.
You are welcome.
All right, if there's no further discussion, Dr. Flores?
Aye.
Ms. Ceballos?
Aye.
Dr. Hill?
Aye.
Dr. Wyatt?
Aye.
Ms. Rosales Medina?
Aye.
Mr. Tillman?
Aye.
And Dr. Dowdy Rogers, aye. Motion carried. Thank you. 13.2, appointment of Board of Education Secretary.
So moved.
Second.
All right, it's been moved in second. Is there any discussion? If not, Dr. Flores?
Aye.
Mrs. Ceballos?
Aye.
Dr. Hill?
Aye.
Dr. Wyatt?
Aye.
Ms. Rosales Medina?
Aye.
Mr. Tillman?
Aye.
And Dr. Dowdy Rogers, aye. We are now at 13.3, Expanded Learning Opportunities Grant Plan.
So moved.
Second.
Moved in second. If there's no further discussion, we'll take the vote. Dr. Flores?
Aye.
Ms. Ceballos?
Aye.
Dr. Hill?
Aye.
Dr. Wyatt? Dr. Wyatt?
Aye.
Ms. Rosales Medina?
Aye.
Mr. Tillman?
Aye.
Dr. Dowdy Rogers, aye. Motion carried. 13.4, public disclosure of proposed SBTA bargaining agreement.
So moved.
Second.
All right, it's been moved in second. If there's no discussion, Dr. Flores?
Aye.
Ms. Ceballos?
Aye.
Dr. Hill?
Aye.
Dr. Wyatt?
Aye.
Ms. Rosales Medina?
Aye.
Mr. Tillman?
Aye.
Dr. Dowdy Rogers, aye. Motion carried. All right, we are at 14.0, summary of board members' requests. 14.1, review of those requests. Is that you? Who's giving it tonight?
It is me. Thank you, President Rogers. Yes. So, okay. So here's what I captured for you tonight, board. Please do let me know if I need to make any corrections for us. So the first request came from Mr. Danny Tillman, who encouraged the superintendent to find ways to fund the Superintendent Student Advisory Council projects. All other board members kind of chimed in and added support for that as well. Dr. Barbara Flores asked that we fund those at $50,000 across the board. Mr. Danny Tillman asked what a full service community school was, and Ms. Kostrakos answered that. However, he followed up to ask that we would consider touring a school like that. Mr. Danny Tillman, supported by Dr. Flores and Ms. Ceballos, asked if we could request a special board meeting or two to discuss and get input on the budget, given the uniqueness of funding this year. Ms. Ceballos had several questions about summer school, but just before that asked for an explanation about what expenses would be covered with regular ongoing funds versus one-time funds. Ms. Ceballos then asked about how the ASAP plan would be monitored and measured and reported to the board, and also asked that we consider assessing students to determine their placement into the appropriate summer school coursework in order to mitigate learning loss. Ms. Ceballos then asked if we would requested additional academic support for 8th grade students who are moving into 9th grade summer school rather than a simple orientation bridge program. Ms. Ceballos asked how we were reaching out to students specifically to encourage participation in summer school. Let's see where Ms. Ceballos then asked about how we to consider developing a process for allowing students who transfer to the virtual academy to hold a spot in their magnet schools, at least for a trial period. Mr. Danny Tillman asked how we
Ms.
would.
Ontiveros.
Yes.
Sorry,
Yes.
did you also include the high school 10 through 12 comment?
Let me add that.
So basically I was asking I was sharing my concerns about the online credit recovery for the 10 through 12 students. If they came from a virtual learning setting and they are clearly in need to recover credits, how are we going to ensure that
And just, I'm sorry, and I should have answered that at the time, but there is in-person credit recovery. They have a teacher there to assist them. The online was for students who are working or who, for whatever reason, cannot come in person.
And this is for all grades 10, 11, 12 across the district?
For all students that are doing credit recovery, yes, they have a credit recovery teacher in there with them.
So they are required to come on campus?
We cannot require anybody to come on campus. So we do have, the credit recovery is in person with a teacher. And then we also have the credit recovery option online for those students that are working or can't come in.
So I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. The students that signed up for credit recovery that are doing it with the on-site teacher, they're scheduled to come in. Is there a daily, weekly, time frame where they're getting direct instruction in the school side?
The credit recovery program is an online program, but they have the teacher there with them to assist them and to help them and to give instruction. But when they take those classes to recover credit, they are online classes. But they do have a teacher there with them, and it's a regular summer school day.
Okay, if you could just add it, and maybe we can further discuss, because I don't think I'm, understanding fully what it looks like, and I'd like to better understand it.
But let me chime in just from my experience as a high school principal. It's a blended model. So what it is the students are in a classroom, the curriculum is online. There's a teacher in the classroom. Teacher walks around to assist students as they need, but all the curriculum, instead of it being a textbook, is on the computer. And so that is one of the options for credit recovery, so that the teacher, if there's questions, student raises their hand, teacher responds, assists the student in the classroom in real time. But all of the actual materials come from an online program that's digital. So there's no textbooks in that type of classroom.
I see. Okay. So again, I want to make sure that at the end of the summer program that we are able to see the growth.
Okay, I'll go ahead and capture that for you relative to the 10th through 12th grade as well. So that you're interested in making sure that we are able to monitor the growth for students in 10th to 12th grades as well. Is that accurate?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, sure.
For clarification, Ms. Ceballos, when you're talking about growth, are we looking at number of students who have recovered credits during that time frame while they were in a credit recovery program?
For high school students, I suppose, yes. I mean, ideally, I would like to see, ideally, I'm interested in their reading skills, right? You could have a 10th grader that's reading at 5th grade level. And I know that that's something completely different. I don't know if high schools monitor that. If you can provide and you do collect that type of information, great. But so I want to make sure that students are entering summer school and that we know where they're at, academically speaking, and that we can actually do something to monitor and see whether they're progressing or not, because I want to make sure that we are monitoring the efficiency of the summer school program. Right? Does that make sense?
It makes sense. We'll just have to clarify a little bit more as far as for the high school, because we monitor progress as far as credits, as progress towards graduation. And then we look at student progress as far as literacy, et cetera. If we have students in an intervention program where we take the pre and post to see where students are during the duration that they're in an intervention program, what is the growth during that time frame. But as far as looking at summer school and looking at recovery of credits, we're not doing an assessment around literacy skills. We're looking at just the number of credits recovered during the period of time that students are enrolled.
Right, and I do understand that. So if that's the case, then seeing how many students enrolled in the program and how many were successful in the program, I guess would be fine. But we are doing that for the lower grades, right? Elementary and middle school, correct? That type of monitoring and assessment.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, good, thank you.
Okay, so then thank you, Ms. Ceballos, for the clarification also. You Then Mr. Tillman asked if it was possible to offer the CAPS before and after school programs during summer school. He wanted to know how we were informing families about their access to transportation for summer school. And Mr. Tillman also asked if we would consider supporting summer programs such as that at the Center for Youth and Community Development after summer school ends, but for summer programs. Ms. Abigail Rosales Medina then asked if we would consider a way to provide free caps and gowns to all graduating seniors next year.
And I add to that as well as making sure that this year, for the seniors this year, that they are also provided with that opportunity. And if we're able to send a robocall, because I know that not all parents or students are willing to find out if they receive that. They most likely will just struggle on their own. But if there's a robocall or some information that's letting them know that you can get a caps and gown, graduation is just around the corner. We need to do this as soon as possible.
Absolutely. I've captured that and actually had written a note for our team already. So we'll be discussing that tomorrow as well. But thank you very much. Yep. And then the last request was from Ms. Ceballos and echoed by others to see the prior agreement from Footsteps to Brilliance. And those were the requests that I captured tonight.
All right. Thank you so much. And we are now moving to 15.0, meeting adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
All right. Thank you so much. It's been moved in second. We are going to adjourn our meeting. Thank you so much to our viewing audience and to everyone that was a part of our meeting tonight. Thank you again and God bless. We'll see you at the next meeting.